Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is not 3 Theater. Shows you how prepared I am when I get my own streams mixed up. Yeah, I know it happens. It's pretty sad. But no, this is Rustl'd for the, what day is it? Today's the 27th. Keep forgetting that kind of stuff. Sorry for the few minute delay of getting ready. I had to quickly take care of some last minute stuff and also make sure my computer was reset because it was kind of acting up. And then I wanted to make sure that I got my caffeine. All right. Crusher Bad 64 woke you up. Awesome. And we'll see how that thing works out for me tonight. All right. So, well, it's the 28th for you, Crypto Zoo. Not quite the 28th for me. So, let's take a quick look here. Got ourselves a grand total of 71 people watching. Fantastic. Thought we would jump into the stories. Got a lot to go through tonight and not a great deal of time. Let me just go ahead and prep everything. I'm sure many of you have seen the title and you're like, oh God, is the P-tape real? Is the P-tape real, Matt? Come on, tell me that it's real. Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you if the P-tape is real. I have no idea, but I'll tell you. Streamlabs.com/Monday, Matt. That's how you do it. That's how you get that information. You got to pay for it. Just like Fusion GPS did with Christopher Steele. No, I am kidding. I am definitely going to have fun with this one tonight. But all right, let's jump into this here. Let's get going. Let's get wild with this. So first things first, this is popping out today. This is legitimate. This is real. This is truthful. This, according to my friend Nick Monroe, who you might know from doing other stuff on YouTube, he's a journalist or everything else. He found this tweet from Full Frontal, Samantha B, saying, "Hey everyone, really sorry we accidentally retweeted a giant gaping asshole. We deleted it, and now, to make amends, we'll RT photos of your dogs for the next 2 minutes. Please send us a dog photo if you are not the fuckface who started Gamergate." Now, Zoe, right underneath it, says, "Hooray, everyone wins." And then Full Frontal responds back with heart. Now, this is not Samantha B's personal account. That is at @IamSamB. This is the Full Frontal account herself, or itself, themselves. I don't know who runs it, or I don't really care. But this is being speculated right now, and I mean like heavily speculated, that this is actually what got Anita Sarkeesian on the Colbert Show, on the Colbert Report, because that was a thing from the fall of 2014. That was a weird thing when Anita popped up there. I mean, it was like super weird, right? Like just super kind of, what the hell is going on? What the hell are we doing here? Why is this happening? How did Anita, of all people, get on to the Colbert Report, right? Well, Sam B at the time was still working for Jon Stewart over there at Daily Show, both being Comedy Central Productions, both being tightly, knit. Everyone knows each other. So it's entirely possible that this is something that is a byproduct of that particular relationship. But I love the fact that the Full Frontal Twitter account knows about Gamergate. I do, because Gamergate, man, I'm kind of okay with these lefty blogs talking about it. I am, because what happens now is that these lefty blogs are going to be sitting there and they're going to be talking about it, and they're going to be clearly making stuff up, clearly pulling things out of their rectum. And when that happens, it's going to be funny, because people can go up there and find the truth. It's not hard, just to basically, do a couple searches for it on YouTube, and you will find a whole bunch of videos that basically talk about the truth of a movement that is for ethics in video game journalism. But unfortunately, we're not going to get that right now. We're not going to get that from anyone like Full Frontal. We're not going to get that from anyone like Joy Reid, who has tweeted about Gamergate recently, of course, using false information and things like that. And I part of me wonders if this is, if these people ultimately understand that they're preaching a false narrative. I don't know how many of them are truly indoctrinated into the BS that is the anti-Gamergate narrative, or how many of them are just, useful idiots to someone like Zoe Quinn, who herself is a gigantic idiot. It really cracks me up that this is basically where things have gone. Almost 4 years later. Hey, look, I'm not a fool, right? I'm not a fool. I mean, well, some people might claim that I'm a fool, but ultimately, I'm not. I'm not that big of a fool. And it's one of those things where I know that we're never actually going to get vindication in the way that would be right, that would be fair, that would be apt. We're never going to get that. And the reason why we're never going to get that is simply because they don't want to give it. They don't want us to have that type of leverage. They don't want the truth to come out. And the truth is as plain as day. Zoe Quinn, whether or not she had sex with 5 guys, I don't know if it really matters, but she's still, and we have proof of this, emotionally abused and gaslit her ex-boyfriend. By her own definition of the term rape, she committed it. Her definition of it is if you have sex outside of a partnership, so you cheat on your partner and you don't tell your partner that you cheated on them, and then you have sex with your partner, that is considered rape with a hard P. And that's precisely what she did, according to Aaron Joni. Now, I really wonder how the Zoe post would fare in the Me Too movement. No, I'm really curious about that. Part of me has wondered about taking the Zoe post and changing the names to where instead of a male talking about a female, it's a female talking about a male. And then putting that out there under the Me Too tag to see whether or not this sort of story gets picked up on, to see whether or not the non-fact checking journalists that have covered Gamergate or covered the Me Too movement that, very much propagate the witch hunt mentality, propagate me-carthyism, would actually be caught up in this particular type of shitstorm. If these people would actually fall prey to this type of lie. I'm really curious to see if that would be a thing. I'm curious to see if that would be a reality. And ultimately, I don't know, right? I don't fully know if that would happen, but I would really laugh if it did. I would super laugh if it did. So to me, Zoe Quinn talking with Full Frontal here further exemplifies everything wrong with journalism. It exemplifies everything wrong with Full Frontal, which if you've ever seen the program, you know that there's a lot that's wrong with it. And if you've ever looked at Zoe Quinn, well, one look at Zoe Quinn will tell you everything you need to know about what's wrong with her. Oh, man. I'm I'm just saying. I am just saying. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm just prepping the rest of my stuff here because I had a problem. Okay. I'm going to need to clip that part out, that little bit out, and pop it up on the blog. Loot boxes are not gambling. Oh, man. I don't know if, there's Chelsea Valkenberg that comes in here, Valkenberger that comes in all the time and clearly tries to run on Zoe's Christian name. It's pretty funny if you ask me. So there's definitely that. But all right, guys, we got 150 people watching right now. Only 36 likes. Come on, mods. Push for the likes. Push. As we go into basically the next story here. This, of course, is one. This will take a little bit longer. It's why I'm gonna lead with this one right here, because this is one of the ones in the title. This, my friends, has all to do with the Russian escort story. This woman, this Russian model, says that she will spill information on Donald Trump and Russia to get out of a Thailand jail. Now, just the headline alone is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life. Mostly because we don't know if any of it's true, but she clearly knows which buttons to push in order to get herself the attention she needs to get ahead. Now, this is a bit of a long one, so stare with me, or kind of, hang with me on this one. Now, a self-described sex expert whose videos highlighted the ties between one of Russia's richest men and the Kremlin has been jailed in Thailand and is calling for U.S. help, claiming she has information about links between Russia and President Donald Trump. Now, this woman, whose name is Anastasia Vashkuchkevich, is an escort worker from Belarus who catapulted to a certain measure of fame after filming a yacht trip with Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska and Deputy Prime Minister Sergei Prikholdko. I'm going to probably butcher so many of these names. She was detained in Thailand over the weekend on a police raid on her sex training seminar. While in custody on Tuesday, she published an Instagram video asking U.S. journalists and intelligence agencies to help her. Now, this girl, for one, works with a guy who is a pickup artist. He actually runs... he's kind of like the type of person Roosh V wishes he was. He's the kind of person Davis Arini truly wishes he was. And that's what she was doing in Thailand. She was working as a sex instructor. And I'm pretty sure part of that was a little bit of extracurricular activity too. Now, Deripaska, with whom Vashkuchkevich said she had an affair, used to employ former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort. But Anastasia, better known by the alias Natsia Rebecca, provided no evidence on Tuesday to back up the claim that she had new information to offer related to the investigation into the Russian election interference. A post to her Instagram account showed her sitting on the floor in what was described as a Thai jail, and she said she was sick. Now, right off the bat, my alarm is going off, right? Because I've talked a lot about the P-tape. Now, I've never said I think the P-tape exists. I think that it'd be funny if it exists. In fact, I think I would probably give Donald Trump a high five if the P-tape existed. And I mean that legitimately. I don't look at that salacious part of the dossier and think like, haha, that's a gotcha. I think like, that is a baller move right there, sir. That's a cool move. I would be happy to watch it and just be impressed. Like I've said before, if you want my 2020 vote, produce the P-tape. That's what I want. See? That's how you get people like me that are going to laugh at this kind of stuff and go, all right, okay, the dude did it. He did it. I'm okay with that. Now, I have a feeling she's going to dangle that in front of U.S. journalists and probably claim she was the model that was peeing on the bed. That is my theory if anyone takes the bait. Now, she says, I'm the only witness and the missing link in the connection between Russia and the U.S. elections. The long chain of Oleg, Deripaska, Prikholdko, Manafort, and Trump, Anastasia said in a live Instagram video Tuesday, apparently shot as she was driven in an open-air police van through the Thai resort city of Pattaya. In exchange for help from U.S. intelligence services and a guarantee of my safety, I'm prepared to provide the necessary information to America or Europe or to the country which can buy me out of Thai prison. And she's an escort, so she knows a lot about being purchased and probably what her value is. So, hey, you could go in there and maybe get a 2-for-1, pay for her bail, and she'll also, in the back seat on the way to wherever you're going to take her. But look, think about it like this. This girl was in fact filmed with Oleg Deripaska on a boat, I think like earlier this month or last month or whatever. That did in fact like cause a little bit of a viralness out of Russia. So she's probably trying to play this up right now to get herself out of a Thai jail. That's pretty much all that it probably is. Because once she gets out, and if she, let's say, reneges on the deal, what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do? They're just going to basically cut her loose and then never talk to her ever again. But this is a bold play. This is a very bold play right now. Because information that would be damaging to Deripaska would, in fact, be damaging to Putin. I'm not saying it's going to be damaging to Trump. Okay, I still have never said that the collusion took place. My personal theory is that there might have been unwitting collusion or unwitting usage of people in the Trump campaign, but not necessarily Trump, just idiots that are underlings and thought that they were doing the right thing. I don't know. I've never said it went to him at the top. I'm just saying, like, this is probably where things are right now. Now, she also says here in her video that she was already given an interview to U.S. broadcaster NBC. Representatives for her and Deripaska didn't immediately respond to requests for comments. A Russian foreign ministry spokesperson declined to comment. Now, this is where it gets crazy, too, because Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny made Anastasia famous last month after he broadcast old footage from her Instagram account showing an August 2016 yacht trip with Deripaska and Prikholdko. Navalny used the footage to allege that Deripaska, a metals magnate, had bribed Prikholdko one of Russia's most influential government agents with the luxury getaway, accompanied by women from an escort service. Now, what you have to realize is Alexei Navalny is one of the large, like he is one of like the highest Putin opponents. Like this guy's run for presidency. He's been thrown in jail. I'll catch crap for saying this in the chat, and I completely understand that. If you want to know more about the situation, I actually really recommend you go find some old videos of Rachel Maddow, because she has gone through this story extensively. When I say that, putting aside personal politics, looking at the whole follow the money scheme, Maddow's your best bet if you want to kind of follow a lot of the money through the Russian banks and where a lot of stuff's gone down. And again, putting personal politics aside, there's some interesting information there. Now, Navalny also speculated that Deripaska and Prikolko may have served as a link between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign in 2016, though Anastasia's video offered no proof. According to emails described to the Washington Post last year, Manafort, who once worked for Deripaska, directed an associate to offer Deripaska private briefings about Trump's presidential campaign. And, Deripaska's spokesperson said he was never offered such briefings, but we've heard that again, time and time again. So Prikolko called Navalny a political loser whose investigation combined the possible and the impossible. Deripaska said Navalny's allegations have nothing to do with reality and sued Anastasia for violating his privacy. A court ordered Instagram to remove some of her posts. Well, I mean, yeah, these are guys who've got like a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of influence. And if this girl's trying to blackmail them, it's possible they can even use the legal system to shut it down, especially if her videos don't show anything that's super incriminating. Like if they had video of him doing a line of cocaine off of another woman's bottom, then I'm pretty sure Instagram would be like, yeah, that maybe won't do the thing, and it would have a lot more damage. But if it's just like, we're on a boat, you know, no one's going to care, right? Which is kind of where I'm at with this particular story. I think this girl's trying to get herself out of jail. Now, according to her Instagram account, Anastasia was in Dubai when Navalny's video came out and then traveled to Thai beach resort Pattaya. On Sunday, according to Russian news reports, Thai police raided a sex seminar for Russian tourists in which Anastasia was participating. Attendees paid more than $600 each for a 5-day course. Now, again, this is a pickup artist. So she was working for a pickup artist who is not a fan of Oleg Deripaska or Putin. And so that's kind of where this thing kind of comes together a little bit more. Now, the video from a Thai morning news broadcast showed the police operation. Some of those were detained, were working without a permit. One of the TV hosts says, why do they have to come to Thailand to use this course? Or why do they have to use Thailand to teach this course? Really? You have to kind of look at that for a second and just go, okay, so a Thai morning broadcaster is like, why do they have to come to Thailand to teach about the sex trade? I mean, I'm just saying. When you think of Thailand, I'm pretty sure you think of like a couple things, and like hookers is like way up on the list, right? Like way up on the list. Or maybe I just spent too much time in San Diego. I know too many guys who have gone to Thailand and come back with nothing but horror stories. That's maybe just where I'm at. That's entirely possible. Now, the Russian embassy consul Vladimir Sosnov told the RIA state news agency that Anastasia and several others had been detained for being part of an illegal training session, and that she and her companions would be put on trial and deported. But Anastasia claimed on Tuesday that she had been arrested on the orders of Russian officials as payback for her video of Deripaska and Prikolko. So she expected to be sent to Russia, where she'd be jailed again. Saying, "Please, USA, save us from Russia," the Post said in English on her Instagram account. All of these cases are political repressions. Coincidentally or not, one of Russia's most important security and intelligence officials was also in Thailand on Tuesday. Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev, former head of the Federal Security Service, was in Bangkok, and there's that. But here's the thing to remember about this, and we're going to kind of get a look at the who Anastasia is. Now, this came up last year. This is from September 18th of last year, where she got famous. I don't know if it's for the first time, but she definitely got a little bit of play here, where 2 slave girls jailed after sex guru and Putin rival orders them to film romp with the stranger in the middle of Moscow. Now, Anastasia Devonya and Anastasia Vashushkeviv, again, I butchered it, were sentenced to a week behind bars after the Moscow city center tryst. Now, It's a little bit, yeah. So I'm going to skip over that one. So the Anastasias were sentenced to a week behind bars after giggling Davidova filmed Vashushkevich filming having sex at 5 a.m. next to the river Volga. Skipping past that. So here's what she looks like just in general, just to get you an idea of you were to be in Russia or Thailand and you were looking for this particular type of escort. This is what you'd get. So it says here that the explicit clip shows her, 23 years old at the time, known as Sasha, having sex with an unidentified man. It later emerged that the stunt was part of a seduction training course run by self-appointed sex guru Alex Leslie, who referred to the women as slave girls. In the video, she can be seen with her knickers down, leaning forward to grab the railings by the river with the man behind her. She's wearing stockings and keeps her top on, while her partner is wearing jeans and a jacket throughout. The camerawoman's instructions to Sasha hint at the staged nature of the encounter as she asks Sasha, would you stretch your leg on the railing? I mean, like, clearly these kind of things are never instantaneous. What this guy essentially is doing is she spent a week in jail. And the reason why I kind of want, well, hold on, we're skip back down. Like, there we go. I'm trying not to get busted for nudity. There's no nudity there, but it gives you a solid idea of what to kind of expect from this. So this is a person who worked as a model, as an escort, worked for a self-appointed sex guru, so basically a pickup artist, who got arrested back in September for staging public sex. They recorded it, put it out there, got her in trouble, a week behind bars. A few months later, a video came out that was from 2016 of her partying on a boat with a Russian oligarch and other important people, that was used by an opponent of Putin to try and, defame the guy a bit more. Now she's busted, she's in jail, and this is what she's claiming. So I can't tell you if what she knows is the missing link. But given this girl's proclivity for finding herself in interesting situations, one is curious about what it exactly is that she's been a part of. Is this the P-tape? We don't know. We have no idea. We have no way of knowing anything. Is this something more sinister? Is this something crazier? Is this the collusion that everyone's been asking for? Again, we have literally no idea. And my reason for reporting on this story is not to sit there and say, ha ha ha, the P-tape is real, because I'm not saying that at all. But I'm pointing out the fact that you have this 23, 24-year-old woman who finds herself in a foreign prison, and her best course of action for trying to get out and not deported and jailed again is to basically try to appeal to the United States to use their diplomatic ties in order to put the kibosh on the Trump administration once and for all. This is an interesting story that feels almost too good to be true. And I mean that in not only the sense of this feels like it's entirely bogus and it's made up for effect, but also if anything here is legitimate, and the too good to be true is not what you would expect it to be. It's not going to be the P-tape or the other part in the dossier that talked about the hookers. No one ever talks about the other part too, by the way. There's a second part with like hookers, I think in like Leningrad or something. No one ever talks about that. Just a P-tape. Right? Because it's the most salacious part. That's the most salacious. It's what everyone remembers. It's the P-tape. That's it. Tons of other stuff in the dossier, none of which has been debunked, by the way. So there's that. But anyway, most of this is probably a nothing burger. It's just fun to talk about because it goes to show you the level of attention this particular story has got. It's taken over a year, 13 months, if I recall correctly, in order to get someone to come forward to basically hint that they know that it's real, that they're willing to confess that it's real, all so they can just get out of a Thai prison. It just feels entirely too much to even remotely be real. I'm just saying. It's like, it's a stretch. The whole thing's a fucking stretch. The whole thing's a goddamn stretch. I'm not saying it's real. I'm merely saying that it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Also, 68 likes. Come on, guys. Get it to 100. 200 people in here right now. Get it up to 100. Get it up there. Now, we're going to be talking about This is a story that I tried covering last night, but not all the details were in, and it turns out now we've got a little bit of closure on the story of the man who was live streaming on Facebook and then was gunned down at the same time. So it says that he'd been outing suspected drug dealers on Facebook Live, then a gunman entered the frame. Now, Prentice Robinson rarely went a day without using Facebook Live. His favorite way of broadcasting his music, his personal vendettas, and authorities says his suspicions about who in town was dealing drugs. Kind of sheds this whole new light on the story, doesn't it? And this is one of the things I'd read yesterday when I'd originally tried covering this, but the articles, I couldn't find any articles that had corroborated this or talked more about the person who did it, potentially. Now, on Monday, he was live streaming a video on Facebook as usual, recording himself with a selfie stick and wearing one of the straw cowboy hats he often donned in his videos. He talked about how his phone was stolen as he walked around Wingate, North Carolina, the town southeast of Charlotte where he lived. He stopped by police headquarters to check in with Chief Donnie Gay, saying bring his phone back so he can get on with his way. Today, Gay said in front of Robinson's camera, according to the video which was posted by the Charlotte Observer. Robinson left and kept walking. Moments later, Robinson's live stream showed his horrifying death in real time. It happened about 5.5 minutes into the video when Robinson was approached by a man holding a long black object. He jumped, suddenly startled, and informed the person off screen that he was recording. "You on live," he says, pivoting the camera. "You on live." Then, gunshots. The camera fell, landing face up, and the rest of Robinson's final video showed treetops, the sky, and a brief flash of the fleeing suspect. The 55-year-old was found with several gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead at the scene. Late Monday, police identified the suspect gunman as Douglas Cleveland Colson, age 60. Now, that's crazy, because yesterday, when I had first kind of brought this up, they didn't have this guy. They didn't know who Douglas Cleveland Colson was, right? They just knew someone shot this guy literally steps away from the police station, like steps away from the police station in broad daylight, and ran off. And like no one caught him. Makes me wonder though, if because he knew he was being recorded, if that's why he turned himself in. Police had interviewed Colson on Monday, shortly after the shooting, but he wasn't arrested. But authorities got more information later in the day and obtained arrest warrants. Colson turned himself into police on Tuesday morning and has been charged with first-degree murder. Now, here's where we get into the why, the motive, which I always find to be the most fascinating part of any crime. I mean, the crime itself is usually horrific and tragic and could always have been avoided. But it's when you get down to the motive that we start understanding the greater spectrum of the story and why things happen the way that they do, which is one of the reasons why I'm so compelled by true crime. So it says last week, Colson was a subject of a profanity and insult-filled Facebook Live tirade that Robinson made. So, this guy. In the post, which remained on Robinson's page Tuesday, had accused Colson of selling drugs in Wingate and always snitching on young little boys to get them jail time and stuff. Now, I don't know if he's referring to the old notion that drug dealers turn in other drug dealers in order to clear up the market. That's happened many, many, many times before. So there's definitely something possible there. But you can see that the likelihood of this man, of Colson, being upset at Prentice for making the claim is pretty crazy. But then to go and kill him in broad daylight, I mean, that is pretty ballsy, right? That is insanely ballsy. So Robinson or Prentice had made a lot of claims that Colson accused him of selling drugs. And, you know, I mean, I guess if you're a drug dealer, you don't want some dude on the internet claiming that you're the guy out there, you know, selling drugs. But again, why would you gun him down in the middle of the road, in the middle of the day, mere steps away from a police station? None of that makes any damn sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make any damn sense. Now, Robinson and Colson had apparently known each other for decades, according to the video. And Robinson said that as a teenager, he dated the woman that Colson later married, saying, "Doug, all I say to you is die and go to hell. You're gonna burn in hell. You're burning so bad inside your skin, turning darker every year." So that's definitely, I guess you could say, a reason. Pride, right? They say pride cometh before the fall. Doug Colson here got mad at the fact that the guy who he'd known for decades clearly didn't like for a long period of time, probably harboring a lot of anger and resentment towards Prentice for years, knowing that Prentice had been inside his wife at one point in time prior to the marriage. Doesn't like being called a drug dealer. We don't know if he is or isn't a drug dealer. And it just, you know what? Straw broke the camel back. Facebook has a way of turning people against each other. Actually, I'd argue social media as a whole has a way of turning people against one another, as evidenced by a lot of the drama in the skeptic community lately, if you've been following any of that. Accusations, thoughts, and theories treated as truth without any shred of evidence, but still ends up being used as weapons against somebody. It's one of those things you have to be very careful about. Especially when I say your platform can end up getting somebody hurt if you're not careful in how you wield it. In this particular case, this man used his platform to ultimately bring about his own demise. And I'm not sitting there and agreeing with anything Doug Colson did. Violence does not solve any problems. But it gives us an idea as to why things might have happened. Now, police have not said what they think led up to Robinson's death or whether that video was a factor. A dispatcher reached a number for Wingate Police Department on Tuesday, told the Washington Post that no one was immediately available to comment. Investigators are expected to release more information later. And this is a guy right here. This is Prentice Robinson. 55-year-old dude, goes around, streams on Facebook every day, talks a lot of shit about stuff. Kind of feels a lot like me, if I'm being honest with you. I stream 5 nights a week and I talk about a lot of stuff, and not everyone likes me. So there's that. But look, just the fact that this guy was just walking, minding his own business technically, a dude who he's known for decades rolls on up, has a long gun. It wasn't like a pistol. It was a long gun. It was probably a rifle, and shoots him down in broad daylight. There is some anger, there is some resentment, there is some rage that was building up. And if at any part in time, getting called out like that on Facebook sent this dude over the edge, it's just sad. It's super sad. But it's unfortunately something we see now more and more and more often. Right? Earlier this year, there was a swatting attempt that ended in a death. Last year, you had the kidnapping and the torture of the white guy out of Chicago. You've heard stories out of Sweden where girls were raped on camera, on live stream on Facebook. You don't hear about a lot of this on YouTube, by the way. I just want to make that abundantly clear. You don't hear a lot about this on YouTube at all in terms of these kind of things being live streamed. But on Facebook, you do. So clearly, no sarcasm. Clearly, the best way to solve this particular problem is to just end Facebook, which, let's be fair, would probably make life better for just about everyone. So, it's some shit, man. It's some shit. No, but I'm pretty sure it was because of that. He's going around telling everyone he's dealing drugs and all that shit. All right. Let's jump over to this one. I saw someone mention this earlier. Loot boxes. There's probably been no bigger plague on gaming over the course of the past, I'd say, 10 years than microtransactions or in-app purchases. Clearly, the mobile gaming market has popularized this lecherous practice that no one likes, except for the 1 or 2 or 3 people that they call whales, because that's the truth of it. The truth of it is the average person, probably you and me, never purchase microtransactions, and the developers, they know that. They only care about the whales that go out there and drop the serious green, laying down that money to get those things, those items in game so they can have the upper hand or just continue playing Candy Crush. Anyway, they're horrible. No one likes them. And now at least the ESRB, after, I don't know, probably over about a decade, I feel like, right, are finally stepping up to do something about it, at least in terms of games that are rated by the ESRB, i.e. nothing on mobile. Not everything on mobile, at least. Now, it says here that the Entertainment Sophomore Rating Board, or the ESRB, has disclosed on Twitter that games in the near future might have to sport a label or an interactive label on it, whether it be a physical copy or a game or a digital copy, indicating that it contains in-app purchases. This label will be included on games if they sport DLC, microtransactions, MTX models, real-world currency to be converted for in-game content, and so on. And listen, I'm 150% behind this. 150% behind this. Probably more like 200, 1,000%, 1,000,000% behind this. Because as much as when it comes to these things, especially microtransactions, I do put it on people to be aware of what they're getting themselves into. Parents don't always read these things, and kids can spend some serious green. And so now if it's on the package or if it's in the game, it's made abundantly clear, parents have a better way of understanding. And as much as I don't want to absolve them from their previous screw-ups, yeah, it's something I'm still glad is there, because then they can't do that whole plausible deniability nonsense. Now, as noted above, this news comes in courtesy of the official ESRB Twitter account. Information of gamers taking a stand against loot boxes and MTX models was said to be heard by the ESRB, thus creating a step forward to forewarn parents and others out of the loop about the current situation going on with games not having a boilerplate regarding the live service model, which is good. Now, personally, I still think that loot boxes ultimately boil down to same thing as microtransactions, and they're, they're pretty much optional. They're there, but like I said, the average person, me, you, don't buy them. It's really like the whales that do, and the rest of us have to suffer because somebody is greedy, rich, not greedy, but rich and lazy, I would say. So in addition to parents who have no idea what the MTX models are and others who happen to be out of the loop, you can visit esrb.org and watch this video to catch up, which we're not going to watch, but you can kind of see here that it says the controls in your hands and gives you the idea that they're kind of putting it back on the parents, which is good. Now it says, now that you have an idea what the MTX service models happen to be, or if you already know, you can read the whole new notice at the Entertainment Software Rating Board released via Twitter. So it says here, if you skim through the letter, the in-game purchases or I want to read the whole fucking thing. Snap. I'm gonna cut it in. And this is what the ESRB letter says. You may have noticed that we've been a little quiet on the topic of in-game purchases and loot boxes, but we've been listening. In fact, we've absorbed every tweet, email, Facebook post, and singing telegram sent our way. And we've been working to develop a sensible approach to let gamers and parents know when game offers the option to purchase additional content. Starting soon, the ESRB will begin assigning a brand new label to physical games in-game purchases. This label, or as we call it, interactive element, will appear on boxes and wherever those games can be downloaded. For all games that offer the ability to purchase digital goods or premiums with real-world currency. This includes features like bonus levels, skins, surprise items such as item packs, loot boxes, mystery awards, music, virtual coins, and other forms of in-game currency, subscriptions, season passes, upgrades, e.g. to disable ads, and more. We're also launching a new website, parentaltools.org, to help raise awareness of the helpful tools that parents can use to manage the amount of time or money those crafty kids spend playing games. This is the first step of many. We'll continue to discuss how to further enhance our rating system with publishers, developers, gamers, especially parents, and we'll continue to make adjustments as the need arises. Thank you all for your patience on this and your love for the games we rate. Now, here's the thing. Again, I'm on board with this. I'm totally on board with this. And I like that they are going to be focusing a bit of it too on mobile. But like I said before, not every game that comes out is going to have an ESRB rating, right? Because not everyone's going to want to submit to the ESRB, and not everyone has to, right? Remember the Flappy Bird craze from a couple years ago? That guy made like 50 grand a day in advertisements on that game. It was like 60 lines of code or something. The dude was just making serious freaking green. So the point is like, that wouldn't apply to him. But it's good that certain games are going to have this on there. And I do hope that other developers, and I think this is where the gamers and the fans come into play. I would love to see other developers who don't have to adhere to this because they're not going to rate their games for the ESRB included anyway. So fans move out and, kind of contact them and say, listen, you have microtransactions, you have DLC, you have surprise boxes, loot crates, so on and so forth. Would you please be willing to put in this disclaimer in your game? That way people are aware. Now, some shadier people are clearly not going to do it at all. Some shadier people are going to look at that and go, why would I do that? And that might impact people spending money. I don't think it will. If I'm being honest, I do not think it will impact them in the way that they think it will impact them. And the reason why I say that simply is because it won't. It won't. People that are going to spend money, those whales, are going to do it. Like, people who are going to buy DLC or buy season passes, they're probably already going to buy them. They probably already know about them based upon reporting and enthusiast press coverage and things like that. They're not going to look, they know what they want going into it. But when it comes to like the kids that are playing the games, the kids that are playing, like FIFA or I don't know, other kind of sports games where microtransactions are involved, or you have a season pass or you have a subscription model, especially on mobile games like Candy Crush, where, if you want to progress to the next level, you better go talk about it on Facebook, or you'd better go purchase this, or blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing would be good to have so parents are aware. Because I think in some cases, a lot of parents do kind of share these games with their kids, but maybe they're not fully aware because they look at it and they think, oh, I wouldn't purchase it, so my kid wouldn't purchase it. But then, no, not a year goes by where you don't hear a story about a kid who ends up spending like $3-4 grand on a game and in-app purchases. And then the dad complains it gets the money back and it becomes a news story, right? Like, it's, to cut down on that sort of thing would even be good too. So I would very much like to see this hit every single game. I don't know if it will. I don't know if they're going to how far they're going to push it. Generally, I tend to not like the ESRB on just about everything. But in this particular case, I support it. And I think it's something that should have been done years ago. I don't see why they waited until now. Like they said, oh, you maybe noticed that we've been a little quiet. You've been a little quiet on this issue for the better part of a decade, knowing damn well that these problems have come out, knowing damn well that these problems have permeated, knowing damn well that Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2 is a thing, and that its controversy is a thing, and that it directly impacted EA's bottom line through their stock price for a brief period of time. You know these things happened, and yet you still chose to remain quiet on it. Not even we understand the concerns and we're working on a solution. You literally waited until states like Hawaii were working on laws for anti-loot boxes or anti things like that. You literally waited until states were looking to, add in laws to protect against it. That's one of the reasons why I really don't like the ESRB. They don't care, right? They don't care unless it directly impacts them. And in this particular case, it took almost 10 years for it to do so. I've never bought a loot box. I've never bought a damn loot box. I've always ended up, I bought season passes and I've purchased a couple things like that, but I've never done loot boxes. Yeah, I don't buy none of that shit. Like, I quit playing a mobile game if I hit a point where I have to pay money. I will quit playing. Yeah. All right. This is kind of a follow-up one too. I wanted to cover this. Okay. Stan Lee, outside of being an absolute legend, right? A man who's created so many things that we know and that we love, at least in the realm of comic books, has really had a bad year, right? And I mean, not just 2018. I'm talking the last 365, right? His wife died last summer. He's been accused of sexual harassment and probably even sexual assault by in-home nurses that have clearly not gone anywhere. at least that we know of. And now he's been robbed for $1.4 million. Now, this is also kind of the next step off of a story I reported on a few months ago, where he had been duped out of $300,000. Now an additional $800,000 has also been taken. So Stan Lee, a man worth probably hundreds of millions of dollars, is really having trouble keeping on to his money. And if he's looking to give any of that away, because you can't take it with you, you can always go to paypal.com/mundanemat. No, or paypal.me/mundanemat. There we go. I am a shill of the highest order. And that will probably be clipped out and used against me. Now, it says Stan Lee is missing a lot of money right now. According to new reports, the Marvel comic mastermind recently came home to discover a whopping $1.4 million had disappeared from his residence. He's currently working with the LAPD to find out who stole the dough from his house, and it's sadly the only part of a string of ongoing money woes that have plagued the creator behind Spider-Man, the X-Men, and many more. As reported by reported by TMZ, Stan Lee's Hollywood Hills home was visited by specialized unit detectives who work with elder financial abuse. They spent several hours inside the place trying to find clues regarding the latest money disappearance. This latest break-in comes after someone forged checks from Stan Lee's bank account in January in order to receive $850,000 to buy a condo. Now, that is new, because it goes on to say, talking about the other incident where he lost $300,000 at the end of 2017, which I did talk about. The $850,000 to buy a condo. That is something that's interesting, because what? How? Okay, if you know that someone took $850,000 to buy a condo, when you buy property, as I recently, figured out, there is a lot of paperwork that goes into it. There's a lot of paperwork you got to sign, and so in regards to that, you're clearly, there's going to be a trail. So if someone took $850,000 of them from him to buy a condo, they're gonna know who bought the damn condo. Now, it's safe to say that Stan Lee's bank account is hurting right now. The 95-year-old comic writer is concerned about his financial well-being. Okay, hold on. Ho, ho. You're telling me that the creator of X-Men and Spider-Man and like Black Panther, co-creator of Black Panther, I think, right? And a number of other characters for Marvel Comics over the years. Now, I know he doesn't work with them anymore, but you're telling me that $1.4 million hurt him? Like, this dude has got to be getting royalties on something or another, right? Like, there was a show on Spike TV. It was Stan Lee's Stripperella. It lasted, I want to say, a season or two. He probably gotten over $1 million for that. He's been in enough cameos now over the course of the past 2 decades to probably equal $1.4 million in fees there. I don't believe that Stan Lee, who goes to conventions, was going all the time and signing autographs, and those autographs cost upwards of like $90, is hurting for $1.4 million. Now, that's not a low number by any stretch of the imagination. If I lost $1.4 million, I'd probably blow my brains out. But I'm also not a 94-year-old comic book icon and pop culture superstar. So I don't know how much of this article I want to say. Like, it just, when I read that, his bank account is hurting right now, and he's concerned about his financial well-being. No, I think he's concerned because he keeps giving out freaking money, or he keeps losing money, really. Now, the latest incident only adds to Stan's recent misfortune. The Marvel executive recently entered the hospital with heart issues at the beginning of the month. That is sad. Though he's apparently doing better health-wise as of late. Presumably, these recent financial break-ins aren't doing much to help. Lee also had another scary situation with a former bodyguard earlier this month, which resulted in police being called to his place. So something's happening with Stan Lee right now, and none of it's good. Now, 2018 is shaping up to be Stan Lee's year thus far. If that weren't enough, the comic book legend also became a widower last year when his wife of nearly 70 years, Joan Lee, passed away at the age of 93. Suffice it to say, it's certainly a difficult time in Stan Lee's house right now. We can only hope things get better. And I noticed that this article does not touch upon the accusations of sexual harassment in the wake of the Me Too, which is probably for the best, because those have been from anonymous sources, from an anonymous nursing home inside of Los Angeles. And it's a story that I have, in fact, covered before. But since then, from what I can gather, there's been no real update. Now, on the brighter side of things, at least Black Panther is bringing in big numbers at the box office. And it goes on to talk more about Marvel being, just printing money in terms of everything. So if Marvel is printing money, and he's probably getting some kind of royalty on this stuff, anytime he's listed as like an executive producer, yes, it's probably in name only, but he is still cutting a check. He's still getting royalties. So 1.4 million is not going to be a big thing for Stan Lee, not in the slightest. But that being said, something is seriously rotten in Denmark. Something is happening here. Okay, and it may just be the fact that his wife of 70 years died, and since then, he's maybe just kind of lost his mind. That can be a real thing. You spend that much time with somebody, and then they go, and you're just kind of lost. And yes, he's surrounded with assistants and helpers, and fans and friends, and people who love him dearly. But there still could be something happening in the Lee household that is just causing him to be forgetful, especially losing this amount of money, considering that the first $300,000 was a check from his foundation that he wrote, that he wrote to his foundation that he says he didn't authorize, and then someone cashed it. So we don't quite know who did that, which is, again, I don't think super hard to figure out given security and surveillance equipment. And then whoever got the $850,000 to buy a house. How did that go by unnoticed? How did that happen? Somebody is swindling money from him, or he's forgetting that he's being swindled, or that he's forgetting that he gave it, and in the end he's just paying off somebody. Now look, I'll go out and I'll say it. I don't think he assaulted anyone, but it's entirely possible that this is a payment, that this was an under the table payment. But at the same time, if it says that there's $850,000 to buy a condo, the police would be able to track the paper trail in order to determine who cashed the check and to see whether or not it lines up with who bought the condo. So if they know all this information and it was on the up and up, then there's been no crime, right? No body, no crime. And if there has been a crime, and if there has been a problem, and he has been ripped off, then they've got the paper trail to arrest the person. So there's that. And I know it says that someone forged the checks. But there's still the act of cashing the check. The thing with the condo is the thing I'm going to want to spend the most time on. The thing with the condo is going to really, I think, kind of like settle this whole thing. And if we find out that it actually is a payoff to a nurse because of the Me Too movement, that he did do something to a nurse, that he did act inappropriately by like waving his dong around, or like grabbing their butt or whatever. And this is what they want to keep quiet in order to preserve his legacy. Because look, I'll be realistic here. And this is just me being honest. If for some reason Stan Lee gets caught up in the Me Too movement, probably not as bad as Harvey Weinstein, but if he gets caught up in it in a bad way, right? This could this could kill him. The stress from it, the disgrace from it could end up killing him. And if, granted he's 94, he's an old man, he's lived a good life, but no one wants that memory of him tarnished. And at this point, it might actually be worth him paying out the money. Paying out the $850,000, or maybe even the $300,000. Maybe it's maybe it is that 1.4 million. Maybe he gave all that away as a way just to preserve his legacy. And maybe that's kind of the whole point of the financial well-being, the financial trouble, is he's literally paying it all out in order to know that when he does go, which will be a tragic, dark day for pop culture and comic books, that his legacy will be protected. That might be what he's telling himself. But in that moment in time, when that moment comes, because it inevitably comes for us all, what if the person then decides to say, screw it, and go public? And I'm speculating, by the way. Then it would destroy his legacy, and in the end, it's all for naught. And I'm not going to lie when I say this, that is actually probably saddest thought of it all, is that something like this could just destroy everything this man has done. And I don't know if he did anything, but like, that could be where things are. I know, if it were me and I was at the end and I had maybe done something to screw up or something, and I had the money, people's memories and your footnote in history is probably worth the cover-up money. However bad that is to say out loud. That's probably what he's thinking if that is the case. So I'm just saying, it's like, you know, I don't know. I got kind of dark there. I fully admit it got kind of dark. So, yeah, I know. That's kind of a dark story. I apologize. Got real towards the end there. You know, it got real and shit. Yeah, real shit. So, okay, let's see. 232 people watching. 107 likes, 12 dislikes. That's cool. We got over the 100. Can we get to 150? Can we do it? Can we do it in the name of Stan Lee? All right, one more story, and then we'll jump into the long-awaited Q&A section. What you guys like when we talk. All right, so snaps for traps. You guys like it. If you guys like snaps for traps, snap on that like. No, but Christina Hoff Sommers is known as the factual feminist, and she is an awesome woman, a true feminist in my belief, and one that understands that not everything is black and white, that there are absolute shades of gray, and that probably 50 Shades of Grey is a horrible work of fiction. But she is currently under attack from the Southern Poverty Law Center, who basically says that her and other women are part of the male supremacy movement. Yeah, because this is where we are now. So screw actually discussing, you know, thoughts, ideas, you know, as Dave Rubin would put it, the marketplace of ideas. Screw all that. Just label everyone out there who doesn't fall in line with the current rhetoric of third wave modern feminism, or hell, even maybe fourth wave feminism, and just say that they're all bad, that they're all evil, that they're all dirty, right? Because that's kind of what they're saying there. Anyway, so it says here, in a topsy-turvy world of leftist attack dogs, a Muslim reformer is an anti-Islamic extremist, and the factual feminist is a male supremacist. Yeah. This month, the Southern Poverty Law Center expanded its political twisting of hate to smear critics of radical feminism, because this is where we've gotten. This is where we are, where being critical of an idea, of a narrative, of a religion, even in a polite manner, which is what CH Sommers does in terms of her being critical of feminism, clearly is, you know, is male supremacy, because you don't like what other people are doing in the name of feminism. Now, male supremacy is a hateful ideology advocating for the subjugation of women, explained the SPLC's extremist file on male supremacy hate groups. Among those punished for the subjugation of women are the female critics of the far left push for enforced equality of outcome and abortion on demand, according to the SPLC. The abortion on demand thing, it's just, you say it like a preacher, it just comes across like horrible. But listen, the critics of enforced equality is clearly where Christina Hoff Sommers is. Because we all know that the equality of outcome is not something anyone can predict or anyone can regulate or anyone can dictate. The equality of opportunity is what we all should strive for. That, my friends, say it with me now, is egalitarian. No, it is. You want everyone to be equal. Treat everyone the same. Everyone has access to the same tools, the same technology, the same resources. That's how you get ahead in this world. That's how you have true freaking equality. But if you a feminist, and if any feminists are watching, I'm directly speaking to you right now, so everyone else leave the room. Y'all kind of cray because you don't want that. And I know I've beaten this dead horse multiple times over the years, but it's still true every time I say it. You want equality of outcome, but we can't predict the future, and we can't predict a person's skills when seeking the same outcome of someone else who might be more or less adept at it. And forcing that round peg into that square hole is not going to solve the problems that you want. I'm sorry. Now, it says here that women too have helped give the men's right movements a veneer of even-handedness. Prominent MRAs, or men's rights activists, also include anti-female voices such as popular Canadian YouTube personality Karen Strawn, American psychologist Helen Smith, and the former head of domestic violence shelter for women, the British Erin Pizzey. For one, Karen Strawn is awesome. Anyone wants to say that she's an advocate for male supremacy is just redonkulous, right? Like, Karen is just, she'll tell you how it is. She'll tell it to you straight. She cuts to the chase, and she don't take no shit. And if that makes her a male supremacist, that's so freaking funny. That you gotta love that you know, her advocating for equality in parental family court, her advocating for equality of men in domestic abuse situations, or men who have been victims of violence, or homeless men. That's part of male supremacy there. You gotta love that logic from the SPLC. Like, I know that they're like retarded, but I didn't know they were this retarded. This is a new level for them, like a new level for them. So it says the kicker, men's rights issues also overlap with the rhetoric of equity feminists like Christina Hoff Sommers, who give mainstream and respectable face to some MRA concerns. Oh my God, are you telling me that an organization might actually be right on something? Or have a concern that should go public? And I say this, by the way, to be perfectly fair, because I do believe in equality, that yes, as much as I disagree with several tenets of feminism, it's mostly about how they act in regards to it, the actions of the individuals under that collective narrative, than I do the ideas. There are ideas there that, yeah, I agree with. I think that, you know, women should be treated equally to men. But I also think that men should be treated equally to women. I know. I'm a monster. But that's the whole point. It's like there's things that people can have good ideas. A broken clock is right twice a day. And then, but instead of acknowledging any of it, it's just calling it male supremacy. It's and Christina Hoff Sommers has a PhD in philosophy and serves as a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. She also produces the Factual Feminist video series on YouTube. Hoff Sommers takes a bipartisan, evidence-based approach to gender issues, looking behind the feminist soundbites and examining the possibility that not all gender imbalances are caused by sexist oppression. In fact, if you want to see more on this, not just from CH Sommers, but really take a look at the Google memo, right? James Damore's 10-page memo, and how he was approaching the battle of the sexes in the workplace, and how he was trying to actually come up with ideas to formulate a possible action plan for how to be more inclusive to hire more women. But because a man came up with it, it's evil. You know what I mean? Like that's where this lefty world is at right now. And it really sucks because I am not a right winger. But man, to these people, I must come across like a Rush Limbaugh listening, Jack Daniels drinking, anti-abortion, gun tut loving, Bible thumping motherfucker. Which I'm not, and if you are, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just saying, it's like anyone to the right of these people are clearly the extremists. That's how far out they are. That's just how crazy they are. Now, Hoff Sommers rebutted the gender wage gap myth that women make 23 cents less on the dollar than men do for the same job due to sexism, saying the claim is decisively refused by economists, including feminist economists. She told USA Today's Tony, the 23-cent gender pay gap is simply the difference between the average earnings of all men and women working full-time. It doesn't take into account the differences in occupation, positions, education, job tenure, hours worked per week. That is true. But yet, for some reason, to even remotely suggest that the gender wage gap is a myth is to go against the tenets of modern-day feminism. And like, seriously, it will get you in a lot of trouble on Facebook, right? It's like walking into a church on Sunday morning during mass and just grabbing a bullhorn and yelling, God is fake. It just, you're kicking a hornet's nest when you do that. I'm not going to lie though. It is relatively funny. I've never done the church thing, but I've thought about it. Just to see the reaction, not because I'm a giant dick. When such relevant factors are considered, the wage gap narrows to the point of vanishing. Again, this is true. On other hot button issues, the memo, like the memo on sex differences that got James Damore fired from Google, Sommers has shown remarkable balance, restraint, and research. Responding to Damore's claims that biology helps explain the fact that men are overrepresented in technology jobs, she cited research about the differences between men and women, but she also noticed that many factors are at play. By saying she does not jump to feminist conclusions that sexism causes the gender pay gaps, but she also takes an equality feminist approach, pushing for equality between the sexes and a deeper understanding of social and political conditions that help both men and women flourish. Look, I've talked about this frequently. I have a 3-month-old daughter, and if I had to put her in front of any woman out there that would, I think, give her the best knowledge and information for going forward, it would be someone like Christina Hoff Sommers, who would sit my daughter down and would explain to her the tenets of equality, why we must look at things from an objective viewpoint. Now, I could tell her that till I'm blue in the damn face, and trust me, I will be raising my daughter on that belief structure. But if she wanted someone who looked like her to tell her, this is who I would introduce her to. And I hope to one day actually introduce her to her, because I do hold Christina Hoff Sommers, aka Based Mom, with a high regard of respect. And I'm a person who has rallied against radical feminism on YouTube now for 6 freaking years. And she is a person with whom I hold in the highest regard, because even though I don't agree with every single thing she says, I believe that she's taken the time to do the research, to understand the argument, to push forward the best possible argument, to push for equality, and to dispel the myth that permeates in every aspect of modern feminist culture. And the thing is, though, and this is the biggest problem, is that it's everywhere. It's that even trying to combat the myth, the lies, the provable bullshit gets you put on the SPLC's list for being a backer, a promoter, a propagator, a pusher, a dealer of the male supremacy movement. Like, what the hell is going on here? Seriously, what the hell? If this is where society is going, like, when is the giant freaking meteor gonna get here? Because looking at this woman on the screen here, looking at her, looking at people like Arhan, was it what's her name, like Hirsi Ali, I forget her first name, but the former the Somali refugee, former feminist turned anti-Islamic activist, and the fact that, you know, Linda Sarsour, who is part of the Women's March organizers, has gone on Twitter and said that she is not a woman. She should have her vagina removed. And this is a woman that's, you know, running the Women's March, has made those comments because you have an anti-feminist, anti-radical Islam activist who is an actual person who pushes for equality and tries to do away with a lot of the BS. This just goes to show you that, like, the leaders of modern feminism are lying to you. And it really takes looking at the critics of that to show you what probably could be shown as the truth. It's sad, it's pathetic, it's hysterical, and it's where we are. I hope, I don't know if a you know, a goofy-eyed porky chucklefuck on YouTube will ever make a difference in this world, but I know she has. And to call that into question in such an asinine, ludicrous, ridiculous, disrespectful, dumb shit way is just infuriating to me. So SPLC, you dumb, you burnt, you stupid, you lame, you bore me. And Christina Hoff Sommers is I want to say a relative godsend to logic in this kind of debate, and a person that if you have not looked into, I highly recommend that you do. All right. Oh yeah, I haven't modded Unknown Archive yet. You know why I haven't modded Unknown Archive? Because fuck them, that's why. That's why I haven't modded Unknown Archive. All right. See, and by doing that, by the way, we got through the 5 stories in a little over an hour, and I've got about probably another 45 minutes to chit chat with you guys. So if you haven't already, definitely smash on that like button. Let's we got 129. Let's get to 150. Get to 150, motherfuckers. 1 motherfucking 50. And then also the Streamlabs is available if you guys want to check that out too. Porky Chucklefuck was your porn name. Fine, I'll mod him. Oh, oops. There we go. So there's I don't know. I think that went pretty well. I think that went pretty well. All right, let's take a look. I saw there were a couple super chats that came in. Let me take a gander at the super chats. Let's jump into that right there. I got to go bring it up real quick. Where the fuck is it? Wait, goddamn. For some reason, like if you go to the gaming on YouTube, it won't let you go back to your page. Yeah, the chat's talking about, not getting notifications. Exactly. It's been pretty crazy with that lately. They haven't been giving notifications. That's why social media is where it's at. So if you want to follow me, that's the best way. It's really just to do there. I don't think people have been getting notifications because, like, in the last couple days, my video views have just straight, like, dropped for the most part from what it feels like. And I just don't think that they're just pushing the videos. There's been a big thing. I've recently come under fire, and I showed about this last night too, with the videos getting demonetized and like getting actual like confirmed demonetized. And that's been a problem. So it's one of those weird things where it's like, it's just not going out to the audience. Show my cat for more. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So, all right. Caitlin Bianchi here, $2 super chat, says, give your cat FaceTime for likes. Yeah, if he was in here, I'd get him. He's not in here, and I don't want to go out there and wake up the baby. She's teething. So if she's asleep right now, like, we're better off. I was up with her last night until like 3 o'clock in the morning. She was crying nonstop from when I ended the stream until about probably 2:30 in the morning. And then she slept like she's just out like a damn light. James Boogley here, $5, says, MRA, can we take a minute to talk about men's issues? Feminist, no, what are you, some kind of sexist? Yeah, James, Jables, that sounds about right. And that sounds about right. And the straw man here, $5, saying, Karen Strawn is my internet mom crush. Yeah, I love Karen. One time, long time ago, I didn't even know Karen knew who I was, right? Sent me a DM on YouTube with a story. She was like, oh, here, I saw the story. I thought you might like it. So she sent me that. I thought that was like really cool. I was like, oh, hey, thank you very much, Karen. That's fucking awesome. You know? So I haven't really talked to her since then. Like, I was hoping she was going to go to VidCon. I did hang out with the Honey Badgers at VidCon. I hung out with Allison, hung out with Brian, hung out with Dr. Randomer. The Honey Badgers are all really good people. I'm hoping they come back this year. I don't quite know what's going on with VidCon. I don't know like who's all going to be there, you know, at this point. I don't know if it's going to be crazy, going to be drama filled or what. Matt doesn't want to stand and prove he's not wearing pants. I am wearing pants. I have sweats on and socks on and underwear on. I just don't want to get up. All right, man. Mang. No, I have legs. Hold on. Unknown Archive. If you're still here, go find the video clip of me dancing. I know you have it. So, any thoughts on the Chinese Communist Party making Xi Jinping president for life? Yeah, man, that's like, is that even going to be challenged by our president? No, because of the bro code, the bro love that they got for each other. Like Obama would have challenged that on a world stage, right? Like the whole democracy part of that being taken away is just ridiculous. But that being said, I think the Chinese people, if under Xi Jinping, if they actually are able to continue the rise of the Chinese middle class, they will just straight fucking let him. And that's a problem. YouTube keeps subscribing you to leftist media. Yeah, YouTube keeps subscribing me to weird channels. It's very odd. It's Porcelain says it's too cold to not wear pants. You want to see them mundane legs? Ah, man. Okay, so everyone click. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit. I clicked on the wrong goddamn thing. Oh, shit. Oh, come the fuck on. There we go. All right, I'll bring it up on the thing. We'll check it out real quick. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I don't know why it's screwing up the way it's screwing up. Okay. Hold on here. Okay. All right, we're gonna. I'm gonna.
I'm the turd tickler. I'm the turd tickler. I'm the turd tickler. Bruce, bitch, smacking dick to your face piece. Shoes trick, either the mouth or the booty crease. No matter what, you getting blessed by the best. Watch that lip, son. The niggas in the best. Compress them cheeks slowly. Make sure you can hold me. Trust me, baby. I killed the rib like Kobe. A gifted shooter, but still smooth on D. All-star, Ichiban, come get raped with me. And when I'm finished, give up the Skrilla and the whip. I'll leave you more hollow than them slugs in my clip. It's official black. I'm the gay dirt tickler. Pussy boy, aka the turd tickler. I'm 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 the turd tickler. Faggot Bruce Cole slaying the beat, looking for me. Yeah, you know a boy gotta eat. I'm a wolf, motherfucker, and I see you frightened. Faggot Bruce, motherfucker, rise up the lichen. My game is legendary throughout the Golden State. Whether you thug or fairy, Bruce gon' penetrate. Clocking cheese, robbing drug dealers blind. No gang affiliation, just one man on the grind. Lone Ranger, stick up kid, robbing the hood. Take the cash and crack the ass from Hope Town to Hollywood. Bury bonds and swing the big stick. Come on, dance for daddy. Ghost ride the dick. I'm the turd tickler. I'm the turd tickler.
I was so fucking hammered.
When it's time for flex and cock a weapon, but for one dude, I sacrifice it all. Leave the streets for good, become his baby doll. Rub his shoulders down, cuddle close at night. I want you bad, dog. Take me Wesley Snipes. I know it's rough being up on a federal charge. Thought of you behind bars, making my joint get large. When you get out, you see me right here waiting. Smoking dust, watching blaze, steady masturbating. I'm the turd tickler. 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 I'm the.
Yeah, that happened. That happened. That did. That was New Year's Eve, 2016. That was last year. New Year's Eve last year. I was so fucking hammered. I was so fucking hammered when that happened. And what's really funny about that too, is that in the process of that, we lost like probably 25 viewers. So, oh man, I was fucking. That's not. I was so hammered. I was so goddamn hammered in that. That was pretty funny. That was pretty good. When can we expect part 2? I don't know, man. I gotta go. I might get fucked and hammered. I'm gonna be hammered at VidCon and Kilroy, so there'll be that. So yeah, that's yeah, I know. I fucked with the sound a little bit. There's that. That's a problem. All right. So 25 people do not like to laugh. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Alcohol is bad. Alcohol is awesome. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what it is. So there's definitely that. But yeah, that was that. That was why people don't ever see my legs, because I sit down a lot. And now you know why. I'm fat. Yeah. I was actually hoping to make it to the gym today. Just did not do that. It's the baby, because she's teething. She was crying not only last night but this afternoon too. I was like, oh my god, just like let me go to sleep. So what type of alcohol did I drink? Oh hell, I don't know, man. I have no idea. It was I think I drank like vodka tonics. They were expensive at this place I was at though. They were like super fucking expensive. So that's why I was all dressed up and shit. What's funny is that vest kept losing buttons. get Anita drunk at VidCon. Yeah. Do the tango with Repsion. Yeah, Repsion's going to Kilroy, but Repsion's not going to VidCon, which makes like no fucking sense. I don't understand that. Will Maddie inherit those sweet moves? I don't know. I'll probably put her in her dance class or something. See if she likes that. See if she likes getting her dance on. So, yeah, drink responsibly. That was pretty bad. Yeah, I was. I mean, I wasn't like so drunk. What it was is I there was like some good music playing all night long, and I had a lot of fun, and I just got fucking hammered, and I thought, you know, screw it. I'm like, I'm just gonna go get wasted and shit. And I was posting videos on Twitter, which is where that one came from. People were finding it. People were memeing it. People were like, you know, making all sorts of fun and shit, which is fine. So I posted it. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is, you can't sit there and fucking get all bitchy about people posting. You know, if you're gonna sit there and like, you know, post the content online. Like, it's just, you know, it's kind of like the whole thing with like when I did the video of my silver play button unboxing, and you know, recently people been like making fun of it. I'm like, I kind of laugh. I'm like, all right, whatever, you guys can. It's also a 2-year-old video, but you know, you can't expect to put anything out on the internet and then not have that be a, you know, not have that be a thing. So Hypothesis did kick in $5 on the Streamlabs. And he says today is the 22nd birthday of Pokemon. Oh, is that why it was Pokemon Day today? I saw it trending. I did not get the chance to look into it too much. That's cool, man. That's really cool. I can't believe I'm only 14 years older than Pokemon. That's a little crazy. That's definitely a little nuts to me, to be honest with you. That I'm only 14 years older than that. So, all right. Where is that chat at? There we go. Monday memes, yeah. Thoughts on Trump recalling ICE agents from California? I didn't know we did that. I really am not paying that much attention to Trump. I'm trying not to pay that attention to Trump. Rachel Kilroy is still going on. Yeah. I actually got an email today from the Mythicist Milwaukee guys. They want to have me on their podcast next month, and they are also going to be at Kilroy, so I'll be able to meet them there. And I'd like to go to the Mythicist Milwaukee. So there's that. You remember selling Pokemon games at Walmart? Yeah, I used to. So I used to run this like really weird like. At this point now, I'm pretty sure it was a Pokemon trading card theft ring. Pretty positive. No proof. But what it was is there was these 3 kids that lived a block over that were kind of pseudo friends with my younger brother. And they would always get their hands on Pokemon cards. Always. Right? They had no money. They were kind of poor. But they'd always get their hands on new Pokemon cards. And what I would do is I would buy the cards off them. But I would buy the cards off them with not cash. With Cracker Jack boxes, because I worked at Hollywood Video and we had it clearanced out all, like, I think there was like 100 boxes of Cracker Jacks, not the small ones. I'm talking the big jumbo size. And I had all of them. My boss just gave them to me. So I just gave these kids caramel corn and they gave me Pokemon cards, and then I would trade the cards off and sell them. You know, I was able to trade my way up to a hologram Charizard. I felt like a fucking king. So, am I driving or flying to Kilroy? I'm flying. I've already got my plane ticket. So there's definitely that. Don't walk around Milwaukee after dark. Yeah. I get that. Definitely though, Kilroy will be doing, a fair amount of stuff. Oh, okay. So it was suggested that I bring in people from Discord. I got about a half hour. left before I got to take over for my daughter. So that's fine. We can do a couple chats with people. We can bring people in. There is a Discord link in the video description. If you guys want to come on board, we can talk. Just basically have your comments and questions ready, and we can go from there. We'll just do a quick couple minute discussion, and jump on to somebody else. So make sure if you go into the chat room on the Discord that you are good to go, and I will bring you in and we will have a conversation. So there's that. I did not watch the premiere of Final Space. I do plan on watching that though. I want to. Oh, horny hippos. I saw that article today about the body odor. I'm like, I don't like body odor or hair south of my neck. So, I mean, like, I'm not a body hair fan. I don't like it at all. I don't find a purpose for it. So, you know, gone with the wind it goes. But yeah, I don't hold like right-wing leanings and shit. Good night, Void. Thanks for coming in, man. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, so people want to jump in the chat. I'm in the, where's that one at? Okay, so I'm there, and I'll pull somebody in, and we could have a conversation. If not, that's fine. So police uncover underground stolen Pokemon trading card ring. Yeah, probably at some point in time. I don't know if they were stealing it. I never asked them about it. I never sat there and like, you know, it was maybe like a 2-3 week thing. And then like the Dreamcast came out and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go get that, you know? So, there's a lot of good stuff with it. I don't know what they were doing, but, I'm pretty sure that they were taking the cards after I left Oregon and I didn't see them again. I thought like, you know, they might've been doing that as I'm sitting there playing Pokemon Yellow on my Game Boy. So yeah, exactly. No one likes body odor. No one likes body odor. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hey, I'm listening to you in 2 places now.
That's good. I'm double fucking your ears. That's how we want to do it.
Stop talking over there. Jesus Christ. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, man. It's been, I'm on, coming up on 4 weeks of being a stay-at-home dad. So that's, it's been an adjustment.
Does your missus got, what was it? Do you get 6 or 9 up there in, fucking whatever you live?
It was 6 weeks. Okay. What he's referring to is 6 weeks maternity leave. Yeah. So, she had, I think she had a total of, I want to say she had a total, like, I felt like it was like 8, but I think it was only 6.
I remember you were talking about the Pokemon cards. Those came out, I just noticed my hands there. That would probably sound better. I remember we had the Pokemon cards, and we had them in locked cases at Walmart because we just could not get kids to stop stealing them.
Oh, really?
And also, it's Florida, so nobody's got any money down there to begin with.
Yeah, well, I lived in Oregon, and like I didn't really care much about like I watched the cartoon show. I played a little bit of the game. I never really got into it. I love the video games though, like the red, blue, and yellow were fantastic. And it was mostly the cards I was just trying to like find ways to make money on.
Yeah, I used to hustle in high school like that too. What I used to do is like, god damn, I'm old. What we would do is we'd stand out in front of 7-Eleven in the morning and we would beg, fucking adults, hey, buy us a pack of cigarettes. Hey, buy us a pack of cigarettes. And they were only $2.50 at the time, so putting together $2.50 wasn't a problem. But you get to school, you sell each of those for 25 cents. And then you ditch class, you go down the street to the Safeway, and you toss in 25 cents and get those sodas out of it. And then you take all those, toss them in your backpack, bring them to school and sell them for 50 cents. Dude, we were doing that every day. We actually made enough money. We used to go to the arcade and just waste it.
Yeah, like I never really did that scam. I think probably the best scam I pulled when I was younger was, and if anyone here is a Boy Scout, you're going to fucking hate me. what I would do is every time there was a fundraiser at school that I wanted to win the prizes on, or if it was summertime and I wanted to earn money collecting bottles and cans, as I'm sure you recall back in the day, that was that's how we got our arcade money or anything money. I would wear my Boy Scout uniform. No one turns down a Boy Scout, and no one ever checks to see whether or not it is actually the if there is anything going on with the Boy Scouts, because they're always doing something.
So when you would go into these homes, were you supervised, or did you go into these adult homes like, hey, like my Boy Scout outfit? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing, man. High risk, high reward. Okay, right? You know, you're not going to sit there. You're not going to sit there and get what you want. We're having a parent supervise you. Okay, I can't sit there and be like, hey, mom, can you take me out while I go and try and swindle people out of their bottles and cans so I can go see a fucking movie, right?
Yeah,
you gonna do that, or you gonna sit here while I'm trying to sell magazine subscriptions? Because I did that. Hey, I can't complain though. I did that. I won a limo ride luncheon from selling a lot of magazine subscriptions. And so yeah, I did a lot of that shit back in the day.
Yeah, that stuff was like super fun. Like when I was in the Cub Scouts, I used to have us sell shit. It was like it wasn't magazines or anything. It was like this weird sort of briefcase that was made out of cardboard, and you'd open it up and there was like all these different samples of different products that you could get, and you'd get into, and my parents did this shit. So I put on my Cub Scout uniform, and they took that fucking suitcase and they're like, here's what you do. And they took my little red wagon, they stuck it in there, and then they said, all right, now go up and down the street, and like just one after another, just, oh yeah, I'll buy whatever the fuck it is you want. I was like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah, it's so weird when you get to a point where you start like having money.
Yeah.
Just disposable income. Like I used to get child support from my dad, and I would get the child support.
Nice.
Not my mom would take it. I would get it. You don't want to give a teenager with no job and like very little responsibilities $125 every 2 weeks.
I'll tell you what, I can one up that. At age 18, I got part of my mom set up a trust from a car accident when I was a kid, and the settlement would pay out at 3 specific times. Anyway, one of them was 18. So at 18 years old, I'm living on the streets at the time. I'm homeless, and like my mom's like, hey, I know you're having a hard time out there. Do you want to have this money? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to have it. So she sends me $5,000. I'm like, holy shit, and she's like, that'll pay for an apartment. That'll, help you get your photo ID. I'm like, yeah, and a shit ton of Coke. Catch you later, lady.
Yeah, I never did anything like that. I remember. Okay, here's the stupidest thing I ever did with the fucking money. So I was always a Nintendo kid. I never really was a Sega Genesis guy or a PlayStation.
Boo.
Yeah, fuck you, eat a dick, blow me, fuck you.
And we're both veterans of opposite sides. It's like when the North and South reconciled after the war.
It's like East Coast, West Coast, man. That's what it was in the '90s. In the '90s, it was East Coast, West Coast, battles, and then Sega Genesis and fucking Nintendo, or Sony and Nintendo. Actually, for a while, then of course the Dreamcast is all like, hey guys, or the Sega's like, we have the Dreamcast. But anyway, which arguably I think was a really solid system. But anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I never owned a PlayStation. I never wanted to. There's never any games I really wanted to play until Metal Gear Solid came out.
Oh.
And so I borrowed my friend's PlayStation, and I got Metal Gear Solid, and I played it, and I beat it, and then I got a couple other games because he wasn't using it at the time. And it was one of those ones. It was like an older model PlayStation. And the Game Shark had come out, right? And so I wanted the Game Shark on it, and so I went out and I bought the Game Shark, which was like $50, fucking expensive back in the 90s.
Back in
the day, right? The thing is though, but you had to have a newer model PlayStation in order to use the Game Shark.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. So I took my friend's PlayStation to GameStop, and I traded it in for a newer PlayStation. I paid the difference. I didn't care. Like, I just didn't care. right? And then just so I could sit there and play the Game Shark, which I didn't own the console. So playing on the Game Shark was like, I was going to sit there and have, when I returned it, no Game Shark, or I have nothing to play it on. And then the game, I think the game was like Siphon Filter or something. And so then like about a couple weeks later, I go and I return the system to him, and he goes like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, there was I traded in your other PlayStation and got you this newer PlayStation. Don't worry, I paid the difference." And he's like, "Yeah, but this wasn't mine." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I was borrowing it from," I was borrowing it from my friend. I'm like, "So hold on." I'm like, "Hold on. You don't." You let me borrow your PlayStation for like 2 months and you had it from somebody else. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, here, he gets a new one then. And he's like, yeah, but I don't think you realize that the one that he had was like an original model. It was like a launch day model or something.
Yeah, the 1001 series, they're really good. They last a good damn long time.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I felt really bad that I had done that. Like, I don't even know what compelled me to do that. It's one of those moments where you're like, you're like 15 and you're like, why did I do this very dumb thing? And it's like that whole notion of like, I think what it was, honest to God, is like, I had this desire to play it. And I could have just gone and bought a PlayStation, right? I could have just gone and bought one. And I just didn't want it. I was like, I just want to play on it. Funny thing. So like 2000 rolls around, right? Early 2000 rolls around. IGN holds a competition. I think it was like late 1999 is when they held the competition. It was a Resident Evil competition. They gave a PlayStation, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and a couple of Resident Evil toys. Yeah. And I ended up winning. I won.
Oh, no shit.
So they sent me a PlayStation and these 3 games, and you know what I did? I just took them all down to GameStop and traded them in for fuck. It was
At least they didn't stick you with Resident Evil Survivor. You would have never been able to sell that goddamn thing.
I did get that game I got Outbreak for free, but I got that in a divorce. It wasn't my divorce. It was someone else's divorce. Because the guy, I think the guy got deported, to be honest with you. But okay. So ultimately, yeah. But guess how much money I got for trading in the console in those 3 games?
How much?
$100.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Where'd you take it? GameStop.
Yeah.
That'll do it every fucking time.
That's what happened. I did that in GameStop and ended up just fucking. I think I got like Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, which is an awesome game. And I think I got, I forget the other one I got too, but it was one of those moments where it's like, I felt like it was one of those weird moments in time where I'd been pushing off getting a PlayStation. I'd done all that dumb shit with it before. And then all of a sudden I get a PlayStation. And then my first thing is like, I'm going to sell it. I should have just like sold it online or gone somewhere else. But this is before, I think this was before Craigslist. This was before, I think maybe not eBay. I should have put it up on eBay, but I didn't really know much about it at the time.
I got an original PlayStation probably about 96 or so, because I want to play Mortal Kombat Trilogy. That was my big thing. I was a huge Mortal Kombat nut as a kid. And then I got my PlayStation. Then I got into some shit with my dad. And then I ended up living on the streets for a while. But there was this one place. There was this guy who was kind of sort of a drug dealer. Like yeah, he was a drug dealer. But like basically he set it up on his TV. And then, he let me stay at his place for a few days. And then he kicked me out and wouldn't let me come back in for my PlayStation. So I basically, after that, I just didn't have a PlayStation again. I was just like, fuck this. I'm not going to go in there and get into like shit with people over a PlayStation. But I did get it replaced later on. That's the good part. Because you always have to have a PlayStation.
That's good. That's good. Man, like, you know what I miss? I miss the Dreamcast. I think the Dreamcast was a better system than the PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think people out there are like, no, PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 only did well because of the DVD player.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing is, it was honestly, it was a decent price. I almost bought a PlayStation 2 at the midnight launch. I didn't have a job. And I had, again, this is like one of those moments in time where you're going like, this is like where I think I caught myself. I was still getting child support at the time. I was just I was 18, but like almost getting to the point of being 19. So I was still getting those, I think I was getting like a couple like back payments or whatever. And so like, I was sitting there with some friends of mine at Walmart waiting for the system to drop, and it was only like $250. My mom had given me her debit card, and I was like, I could buy it, you know, and I could probably like pay her back or whatever for it. And you know, and the thing is, I don't think my mom would have cared. Like, she would have been mad at me, but at the same time, you know, like my stepdad was making really good money. So it really wouldn't have mattered. Ultimately, I'm glad that I didn't buy it. Cause I felt like I should really probably go get a job or something. You know?
Mundane morals.
Well, no, that was the thing too. So I'm kind of like kind of fiscally, I'm pretty conservative in my spending. I'll spend it if I know I can spend it, but I don't like to buy I will buy frivolous shit, but I like to make sure that like I'm good in how I spend my money. And honestly, blowing through all of that child support money for those years, right? Like, I think really taught me to respect money, however weird that sounds, right?
Oh yeah.
Because like most time you think, oh, you get constant flows of money, you're not going to care. You're just going to keep getting money. But it actually was this really weird thing. So when I turned 18, my mom was like, well, you know, when your child support expires, you can extend it if you want. You have to go to college, but your dad will keep having to pay you the money. And my dad's got 5 other kids, you know?
Yeah.
Or 4 other kids. Sorry, 4 other kids. And I'm like, you know, yeah, you know what? They've kind of suffered enough, I think, because $250 a month every month adds up.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
I'm like, you know what? Just like let them have it. And then after that, I kind of started. I think I started like looking at money a bit differently, and so that's why I just kind of opted out of buying a lot of that shit. So it's so weird, like, you know, how I was a couple years earlier, I just immediately 180'd.
You know what? Like, well, my thing is, I'm actually really jealous of people like you who can do that. Like, actually look at your finances and figure them out. Like, when I look at stuff like that, it's very close to Greek. That's why my wife takes care of all of that stuff. She's the finance lady, you know, and I'm the fix it guy. That's how we roll. But what the fuck was I saying? God damn it. You got me distracted, man. You were talking. Hey, chat, what was I saying?
No, someone just sent me an update. So I don't know if you watch my $3 Theater channel at all. Okay. But there's a video I did yesterday about the Zack Snyder cut for Justice League. The guys behind the petition for it are wanting to do they want to do a documentary, and they're looking for $4,000 to do this documentary, right?
Nice.
And like, I looked through everything. I did a video and I criticized the fuck out of it, because I'm like, there's, you know, nothing in here that talks about like what you're going to do, how you're going to make it, what your estimated release date is, or your completion date, or anything else. And so I posted that yesterday, and I guess other people criticized them. So they just posted they updated it, and they put out an equipment list of what they want to do. So they have banners, printing the petition signatures. Okay. I'm assuming they want to go to like conventions or something and like have that kind of shit. They have travel costs, but they spell it tavel costs. They say video camera, steady cam. Okay. It makes no sense why they'd have so they don't say what kind of video camera, why they would need a steady cam. Makes no sense to me.
Here's an idea. Stand still.
Well, no. Then they followed up with a GoPro Hero. Are they going to put like a GoPro Hero on a Steadicam? It's not really what it's for. Then they also said a jib crane. They want a jib crane, which makes no sense.
That's a top-down crane, right? For like
jib crane. Jib crane is just, you know.
I'm trying to remember my movie terminology. I used to have a lady who was like super into like the whole building of movies, and she was like, "Oh, we need to watch the special features of this." I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!"
It's just a crane on like a tripod or something that you're able to like move around. They don't need a jib crane. if you're doing a documentary and you need a jib crane, you have not thought the documentary through. Then they said a 360-degree video gear. All right. And you got to keep in mind that the video camera, that a decent camera, you're going to look at least is like a couple grand, right? For, you know, like I'm shooting right now, I'm broadcasting through a Canon EOS 7D Mark II.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, that the body of the camera was well over $1,000.
Jesus.
And yeah, but look at the image, right?
Okay.
You pay, the quality is good. So you pay for the quality.
Do you need that much quality in your, like...
You know, as odd as that sounds, yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm kind of a perfectionist in that regard. Right?
Well, then how come your OBS setup looks like dog shit? Like, what?
I like my OBS setup. Okay. Well, if you want to make me an OBS setup, because I know your OBS setup is nice. I'm not like, you know, you have a good OBS setup. I'm not against better looking setups. I happen to kind of like this particular look. If you think it's dog shit, present me with something better, motherfucker. That's all I'm saying.
I will. I'll add fucking effects. I'll add explosions and shit.
Yeah, I could add explosions. I'd have to PNG that shit, motherfucker. The point is, like, I mean, a simple display for me is fine. I want the video to look good, you know.
Yeah.
I look horrible, but I want the video to look good. And so, but not only that, so they want 360-degree video gear. A 360-degree camera is a couple $100. They said a tripod dolly. Really, so at that point, they just need to get a tripod with wheels on it. Or if they're going to do a dolly, you can just make your own with PVC pipe and roller skate freaking wheels, which I know because I've fucking done before. Then they said instead of they said a camera light. Okay. They also want a 3-point lighting kit, but they spell it tree-point lighting kit.
Are they Asian?
They're Brazilian.
Oh, okay. Just as bad.
Yeah,
all right,
they want so, but a 3-point lighting kit, like let's for example, because if right now I'm using 3-point lighting kit, right? So like again, I like things to look good, so I've got 2 LED panels in front of me, and then behind me, above my my backdrop, is my 18-inch ring light, which I'm gonna eventually replace with another LED panel here. But the idea there is that you want to have good lighting; it gets the best looking image. So they want to do that. That's a couple $100 right there. A shotgun microphone. So they're going to probably want to go Rode. You know, they're going to go Rode. Everyone just goes Rode. If they want to get the Rode Video Mic Pro, that's like $240. They want a wireless microphone. You're looking at probably something along the lines of a bit, you know, a couple $100 for a wireless. You know, if you want, I mean, it depends. Do you want to do a wireless lav set, which means you need to get 2 sets of those? If you want to go for like what is the average, that would be a Sennheiser wireless lav set. 2 of those, you're looking at around $1,200.
Jesus Christ!
It's fucking expensive. Unless you want to sit there and go another route, you can get a Tascam, which is a single wireless lav. You clip and it records to the recorder in your pocket. That's what Tim Pool uses. That's about $186 for one. They want to do a portable digital audio recorder, which would probably end up being, I would say, a Zoom H4n would probably be what they get, because it's about middle of the road, and that again is about $200. Then they want headphones. They want a light reflector. All right, they want lenses.
That's the umbrella thing, right?
Yeah, a light reflector is actually like you can make one. What you do is you go to like the what's it called? Fucking stupid shit. Dollar Tree. And you buy the foam core, right? You buy like the poster board. Foam core works best if you can get it, but you put kind of a gold aluminum or just aluminum on one side. You tape it over so it's kind of crinkly, and on the other side you do that so it reflects the light. You'd want to reflect it on your subjects, or you can then flip it over and then use the white side of it to then reflect light directly off of your light source in order to better illuminate your subjects. The problem with that though is that, you know, they're also going to probably want to get a diffuser if they're going to shoot outside. But then they say here that they want lenses. They want a wide angle lens, clear protective lenses, polarized zoom lens, macro lens. Why the fuck do you want a macro lens? What the hell are you doing? Are you trying to shoot like Zack Snyder? What the hell? They want 4 extra batteries, 4 memory cards, external hard drive, camera bag, DSLR shoulder mount. So basically what they mean is they want their video camera is actually a shoulder mount. There's a DSLR, so very similar to the one that I have. And you could shoot even with like a Canon 70D, not the 7D, but the 70D. You get the full kit for like $1,500, right?
So if you don't mind me asking, like, you know, with like your LED lights and your backdrop and like your front lights and your back lights and your camera, like how, like, if you don't mind, like ballpark, what have you put down?
Ballpark what you see right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do the 3 lights.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hold on. I had to bring up a calculator for this one.
Do you have them all memorized?
Yeah, pretty much.
Holy shit! You've got some of that shekel blood.
No, 2016 was a really good year. That's what I'm talking about here. 2016 was a fantastic year.
If you prick Matt, does he not bleed?
No, I like to. I figure I get what I can get, make it look good, and then go from there. And I've also piecemealed a lot of this together. Okay, so the 2 LED lights on their own was $240. The ring light was $140. My Yeti microphone here was, when I bought it, was $130, but I think right now it's about $100, so I'll just kind of go market value. My boom arm, which you see connected to, was about $90. Let's see here. I'm using an AVO HDMI to USB 3 grabber. That's how you're seeing the 1080p native output. That was another $400. Let's see, the tripod that the camera's on was like another $21. I won't deal with so the battery pack for the camera was another $21. The lens I'm using on here right now was, I think, about $145.
Jesus,
the body of the camera itself was about $1,100. I mean, we're not even going into my computer. Just the shoot, what you see right now. Oh, hold on, I forgot. And then the backdrop was $68, and the holder for it was $30. So combined,
is it a shower curtain?
It is a fucking shower curtain I got from Shutterfly.
I called it.
No, but it looks fucking good.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks good, man. And so yeah, we're talking just a nut hair shy of 24.
Oh, damn.
And that's not even counting so much other stuff.
Hey, everybody out there in the audience. This might be a great time to remember Matt has a 3-month-old baby, and your super chats help. So if you throw down a super chat, for every super chat you throw down, I will punch myself in the dick. You can't see it, but I promise you I'm doing it. Anyway, continue, Matt.
Here's the thing. This is a lot of this is shit that I've collected now for coming up on like 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So like the microphone I bought in 2015, the boom arm was in 2016, the tripod stand, which is actually a mic stand with a modified ball joint grip on top that I picked up. I bought that in 2015. For other different things. The lights I got back in October. I mean, this is all stuff that I've just compiled over years. Yeah. And so it's like, the thing is, someone said like, oh man, YouTube's, YouTube is like, it's spendy as fuck. It is spendy as fuck if you want it to look a certain way. But you guys got to understand, it's like when I started, I legitimately started just recording from my phone.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you can totally do that, right? And you can do that for like way fucking cheaper than anything. So like, for example, you can take like, just a standard clip-on. I bought a giant squid microphone. It's a little clip-on lavalier mic. Mm-hmm. It was $50. You can get it for cheaper, but this is pretty decent for $50. And you can clip it right into your Android, like right into your fucking Android.
Hold on, I got to punch myself in the dick here.
I saw that. I see that. Yeah.
Ah, God. Okay, like I was like, I'm gonna punch it from like kind of like the side, but nope, it was just as bad as I thought it'd be. Nobody else super chat.
No, everyone's if he punches himself in the nuts, everyone's super chat. Oh no, shit, Cytotron kicked down $5. AW made the dick punching commence.
All right. Oh, fuck.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing is let me tell you guys one of the reasons probably why I have invested into the year that I've invested. And this actually has everything to do with when I lived in Los Angeles. When I moved to LA just about 7 or 8 years ago, I did not have anything. I didn't have any gear. I didn't have any recording equipment. I didn't have anything. And that was probably the biggest mistake I've ever made in my entire life. Because when I
having
moved,
equipment?
Not having equipment. Not having equipment. Because I went up there, when I moved to Los Angeles, one of the guys who was already there is a dude who I had invested money into gear. We're talking a grip truck and a very nice Panasonic camera that he was using to go out and shoot films with, right? Go and shoot movies that I co-owned, this in the truck. So he had told me that when I come to LA, he would hire me to work on stuff. Well, the thing is, when you go to Los Angeles, if you want to work on movies, it's not like San Diego. In San Diego, I could get jobs doing grip work all the time, right? People would have the gear. They'd hire me to come on as a one day or a couple day. I'd make a few $100s here and there sort of thing. But in Los Angeles, you have to have the gear. So when I moved to the city, this camera, this Canon 7D, it wasn't even the Mark II, it was the first 7D in the 5Ds. That was all the rage at the time. Everyone was using them. Everyone was shooting their feature films with these things. And like everyone was using, $5,000 audio equipment, just a portable setup. And that $5,000 kit was one boom pole with a decent shotgun mic, 2 wireless lavs, a Zoom H4 in order to, route them in there, and then the mixer. And the mixer was like $2,000. It's like the average cost. Now you can get all that shit for way cheaper. But back then, this is what it cost. And I didn't have any money for that. All the money I had saved up to move to Los Angeles just paid my rent to get there. And then I spent like 3-4 months unemployed, really, scraping by, like with whatever I had in order to cover my rent.
Lots of ramen noodles.
That's a lot of ramen noodles. That was a lot of going to like the dollar movie theater in order to see movies, which is actually where I ended up getting a job making $9 an hour for 30 hours a week in Los Angeles, all while trying to still hustle and work on writing scripts. But everyone I knew was buying gear. Everyone I knew had gear. So when I go out and I buy this gear in order to make my setup better, I'm legitimately prepping for a time when I might have to show up and do something where, like, let's say like a job presents itself where they go, oh, what we need is this and this and this and this and this and this. And it does well. And then I can be prepared for that. So while a lot of other people out there do this and they do it just as a Logitech C920, which I've got one, like right here, which are good. They're good cameras. But like for me, one of my biggest failures is just in my life was how I left Los Angeles. And I was completely in credit card debt, maxed out all my cards. I couldn't find stable work. I couldn't buy any gear. I was trying to get my old podcast off the ground. I was trying to get my zombie survival podcast going so I could actually maybe get sponsors or earn money in order to pay for gear to get work to live. And I could never do it. I couldn't do it. And so it's not that I feel like I left Los Angeles in shame. I didn't. I left Los Angeles feeling defeated, but not out, because I had started doing YouTube about a year earlier just from my iPhone. Yeah. And so every chance I get in order to make everything look as good as it can and be as good as it can is part of me trying to make up for everything I didn't do when I lived in LA. It's me trying to make sure everything looks a certain way and sounds a certain way and is presented a certain way, because I feel like I let myself down there and I don't want to let myself down here.
It's not the quality of the video. It's not like the overlays or anything. It's just the whole thing is everybody comes to your channel for the same thing. ASMR.
Oh, dude, everyone loves ASMR. Everyone loves ASMR.
Hey, you got a queue here of people that want to come shit up your day, so I'm going to hop off.
Okay, yes, a few people in there. All right, man. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. Thank you for punching yourself in the dick.
Yeah, I actually owe one. In case anybody's wondering
Dalton
how I'm
Lambert.
doing this, basically I'm just stretching it to the side, and well, the rest writes itself. Okay.
All right. Well, just be sure to everyone next time you do that and he does that, tell him to flick himself in the nuts, not punch himself.
No, not.
It's way worse. Way worse to flick it.
All right.
All right, man. We get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ! I wasn't saying right now, motherfucker. But you need. There you go. There you go. There you go. Did he fuck off? Did he fucking quit? Okay. All right. I saw Tony in there. I'm gonna grab Tony, bring him down. Hey Tony, what's up, man? I don't know if you're there. Sometimes you like to get in the queue to come on in and then walk away. Let's see if he says anything. But yeah, until he comes on, I'll give him about a minute. But yeah, that's LA. LA was like that. LA was a big thing. So I take the time now to invest in the stuff because, you know, like there are things I want to do. I want to be able to go and shoot stuff, and I want to be able to have a nice camera and have good, and I have good microphones, good audio stuff for on the go. So there's definitely, there's a reason why. Not everyone does it. Not everyone has to, but I have my own reasons. And, all right, I'm going to drop Tony down and bring down Fry Guy. All right, Fry Guy, you there? God damn. It's a queue of people, and they're not even, this is why I need a person to manage the Discord for people who want to come into chat. All right. All right. Let's see. All right, Vexen, you there? I'm just gonna. No one. Jesus. See, this is the problem.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
There we fucking go.
I had to mute it so it didn't do the echo effect. I was hoping I'd have time to get some more coffee, but I got a little bit here.
So yeah, no. What's up, dude? What's on your mind? What you want to talk about?
Well, I tried to work out the nightmare fuel from checking out LolCal. Most of it was pretty good, but then I ran into this thing where it was talking about Chris Chan and all, like it was pretty much a rabbit hole like that, and I was just like, first I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. I was like, yeah, that one's kind of disturbing. And then there was this like really in-depth one about this guy who made something like Speed Runners or something like that, and he went from being this rather smart, completely normal guy to just like losing his mind. I'm hoping it was just a troll, but I don't know.
You never really know when it comes to a cowboard. You never really know at all what people are planning. I was looking on there cause I mentioned it earlier in the Discord.
Yeah, that's why I went.
Yeah, that there was a thread about the Sargon.
Yeah.
And the VidCon drama, and they're trying to insinuate that Sargon cheated on his wife with that girl Crazy Hair, who caused everyone to kind of like lose their shit. And I'm going like, and their push for this ultimately is that there's a picture Sargon took with Crazy Hair. But what you'd have to understand about Crazy Hair is she was doing that with everybody. She would like take someone's phone and then add herself to your Twitter, and then DM herself.
Wait,
she would want to snap photo.
She caused a lot of men to cheat on their wives?
No, I'm saying she was a fucking nightmare by the end. It's because what it was is I don't know if you're familiar with the VidCon drama amongst the skeptic community. But long story short is she basically like, so what Cal was trying to say is that you had like Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head and Blair White and Blair's boyfriend, Chris Ray Gun and Lacey Green all in a hotel room. And there apparently was a big ass orgy is what they're trying to insinuate. A couple people are trying to insinuate, probably because it's a Cal thread. No one actually cares. But essentially there wasn't. And they were up in like, up in the hotel. And they required, like, you had to get past security in order to be able to get up there. And Crazy Hair found her way past security and found her way up to their room. And when she got up there, she brought everyone drinks. She was trying to, like, give Shoe on Head a birthday present or whatever. And then she kind of overstayed her welcome and people wanted her to go. And she, I guess, wasn't leaving, wasn't taking the hint. And then they asked her to leave, and then apparently they made fun of her, and she felt bad. And I understand that. I totally get that.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to feel rejected.
Yeah. So she went down to what's her nuts? What's Jesus Christ? What's it called? Jeff Holiday, and told this story to Jeff Holiday that they were calling her a gypsy and they were calling her all of these racial epithets and all of these names. And so Jeff Holiday stormed up there, said some choice words, some choice words that I won't repeat, but he gave him some choice words and stormed out. And then I didn't know this at the time because Crazy Hair came to me and wanted me to go and say something to them. So she's coming, she's crying. You know, she says that they were the ones, that they were blaming her for hacking Sargon's Twitter account because Sargon's Twitter account had been hacked earlier that night.
Jesus.
And, you know, and all this shit. And she said she had recorded them. And I'm like, oh, okay, right. And so I'm like, let me listen. So I try to listen. You can't hear anything, but it sounds like kind of like friendly banter, you know, like the way the sounds made, like friendly banter and shit.
Maybe people hanging out drinking. Maybe she drank too much and hit crazy mode.
It wasn't that she got rejected, and this is how she chose to react, like almost like, you know, like Fatal Attraction levels. It felt like.
Have you ever tried to reject a girl when she was at crazy drunk? Because it goes from, come on, baby, let's just do it, to, oh, you're such a pig. And it's like, what, for turning you down? What? I can't win. Pretty crazy.
I don't know. I have no idea. Chelsea Valkenberger says nobody came out of that night looking good. And for that, I actually relatively agree. No one came out of that night looking good. I would say no one came out of the next day looking good, because it kind of blew up. So ultimately what happened was, she came to me, she wanted me to listen to this stuff. I tried listening. I couldn't make out any specific words. I talked to Sargon. Sargon listened to it, couldn't make out anything. And then after that, it just kind of fizzled out, right?
So
it just kind of fizzled out.
Understand it, which means it's damning evidence.
Well, actually, and this is where things get kind of funny because this tends to get forgot. And I don't know why it keeps getting lost in the fray here. But Shoe on Head actually recorded when Crazy Hair left the room.
So wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Shoe on Head was recording video when Crazy Hair left the hotel room.
Ooh,
so when she left, you know, she recorded it. So they, you know, like it wasn't like they were saying that. They kind of laughed like, who the hell was that chick, sort of thing, because she'd made her way past hotel security.
She was apparently a ninja, that's for sure, right?
Well, she was pretty good. And
so give her credit where credit is due.
Well, tie-in says here, why was how Jeff got past security never brought up? That was a huge issue. Yeah, no, Jeff, what it was, the security sucked. I think that was what it boiled down to. Is the security sucked. I could have walked up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of how it is. You're not
giving yourself enough credit, man. Come on.
Well, there's the thing. So she made that claim, and then the next day is when some weird things happened, where she ended up finding a secret meeting between Andy Worski and Francesca Ramsey. Bunty King was there, so she showed up somehow, which Andy believes that she hacked into his Twitter when she had used his computer, and then found out the time and location. She said that she was visiting, she was already on the floor doing something else and just happened to cross them. At this stage, I'm honestly kind of more in belief of that. But then again, she was kind of weird because she also kept asking to use everyone's phones and like their laptop. You know what?
I mean, the phones thing. I mean, come on, that's pretty suspect right there.
Well, no, well, she used Andy's laptop earlier in the day. And that might have been it because she got access to the Wi-Fi. So that's a possibility. She's denied it, but at the same time, she's lied her ass off about a lot of other shit involved in this. So I don't quite know.
She's already lost credibility. Yeah, she's already lost credibility.
So yeah, it's one of those weird moments in time. And so, you know,
I had this friend. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Chelsea said here, Matt Smart, he doesn't go to the after parties. If it was because you weren't invited, I'm sorry, but it worked out for you in the end. Okay, what you have to understand about that night is ultimately what it was is Blair White had conned to everyone and said, oh, I've got this, like, I've rented out a hotel rooftop bar, and we're gonna have this party, right, at the Standard Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and she put the word out to all of us, right? That was fine, right? Oh, cool, fuck yeah, party, partying downtown and shit. Well, we go to this bar, or we go to this hotel, and apparently, like, BET Awards were happening.
Okay.
that same night. And the BET
That's
Awards kind of like sniped out the reservation from underneath Blair. And I don't know how true that is, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mostly because when we tried going and her boyfriend tried talking to the bouncer, he tried talking to the bouncer about getting us up to the rooftop bar. And the bouncer was like, no, we're having a private party. And I never heard him say, and he could have said this, I never heard him say that we had a reservation and they fucked us over.
I never tried to like present.
So well, what you have to realize is there was like 30 fucking people, right, that had come from Anaheim to downtown. So it was a huge thing. So what it was is ultimately Shoe on Head and Blair, their BFF, they wanted to do a little private thing. And so they kind of invited everyone to this party that they were going to throw, supposedly, so then they could sneak off and do their own thing. The rest of us were actually pretty ticked off because we didn't like, well, why the fuck are we in Los Angeles? We could have just been back at the home at Bunty's house in Anaheim getting fucking wasted. And, you know, people were spending upwards of like $90 on Uber rides to get to and from.
Jesus Christ.
You know, it cost no, at the end of the night, because of all that drama, everyone I was going to catch a ride with fucked off. They all fucking left. Right. So I'm sitting there like at 2 a.m. in fucking downtown Los Angeles going like, I got to get back to Anaheim. So I took a Lyft and it was like, you know, it was like, I think it was like $40 or something just to get down there. And I'm like, this is lame.
Oh God. It's like a Ponzi scheme, except no one wins.
So it's a weird night. It was a weird thing.
You know what? You know what though?
Here's
lots of stories. It sounds like
I have tons of fucking stories.
So it was worth it. Damn it.
Well, I will say this. The reason why I kind of got involved in the way that I did is right after we got back and all this shit blew up, because it blew up pretty bad. Crazy Hair started going to all these different streams. And, you know, anyone that wanted to talk to her, she'd go on the stream. And every time she went on the stream, she would fucking lie about me. Right?
She's like, yeah, Matt has hands all over me.
No. She was saying that what she was saying was that I went to her. I went to her and I instigated the conversation.
Your distinguished class and taste? Never.
Nothing about me is distinguished or classy. I think we've established that at this point.
I know that curtain is pretty cool. And the haircut all right.
But I'm just saying, like, what it was is I want her to admit that she pulled me away from talking with Derek, aka some black guy. And she was crying, pulled me outside, lied to me about the story, didn't tell me she went to Jeff Holiday first. So I had no idea about the Jeff Holiday drama in that regard. And that was the whole point, was that this was an issue because, well, quite frankly, you know, be on the up and up about this shit.
It sounds like she was the Alka-Seltzer in the water.
Yeah, she effectively ended up killing.
Who did she kill, Matt?
No, what I mean was she killed the vibe. She killed the vibe that we all had, because this was Friday night. Saturday night was our last night.
You like got to keep your guard up.
Well, it was last night was Saturday night was the last night. And we were all meant to party together. And as a result of the drama that happened on Friday night, it started making people question other people, question, you could say, like, their validity, their true intentions, so to speak. And so the parties got...
That is the worst. I had a friend that did that in my social circle, and it took a while. By the end, everybody pushed him out. But before that happened, he started so many weird little fights between people. It was crazy. And he'd steal stuff all the time. It was really annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I as far as I know, she plans on going to Kilroy. Last I heard, I don't know why no one wants her there.
Has anybody pulled Roy?
No, Kilroy is Kilroy is. It's it's going to be that weekend in and of itself is going to be nothing but interest. It's going to be just interesting the fucking weekend. It's just going to be weird.
AW came up with a better one, the Mentos and the Coke rather than the Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, that's a better way to describe it. Yeah. And then I think she might go back to VidCon this year. And the thing is, due to all the recent drama anyway, VidCon is going to be fucking weird anyway. So, you know, like, I've got to go spend the money tomorrow to buy the Ultimate Pass so I can go, because I want to go and like learn about YouTube. That's kind of where I'm at this year, is to learn as much as I can about the platform so I can work on my book. and do better and shit. And so I got to go and take care of that tomorrow.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's totally legit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like to you know, I'm trying to expand out the business and whatnot.
Well,
Okay, so
apocalypse hit everyone really hard. I mean, you were saying 2016 was a good year, and then I almost made a joke about 2017, and I stopped, and I went, "That's just not funny," so I let it go.
yeah, no, the apocalypse is it's here. It happened. And it's still going on. So
Now it's almost like the censor apocalypse because it seems like they keep upping the game. Like, everyone's like, "Hey, stop it, YouTube," and they're like, "Did you say more?" It's like, no.
They've been like pretty crazy on a few things and whatnot. Like the Heather Locklear video got hit. I'm still waiting to see whether or not they're going to confirm it. Last night's full podcast ended up getting hit. Those are usually those are kind of hit or miss depending on if they get confirmed for manual review or not. Yep, Heather Locklear got confirmed by manual review. Yep, of course it did. I'm not even swearing. I'm not even like, why the fuck am I even holding back anymore? Because
you know that if you don't hold back, they'll just ban you. Like right now, you're demonetized like everybody else, but you really just cut loose and speak your mind and be like, "Ugh, you're inciting some bad vague thing. We're not going to tell you what it is." Like there was this one guy. He was mostly humorous. He did kind of a comedic, serious commentary, like a lot of YouTubers. Named, I think it was like Mr. Obvious, and I liked it when he'd have a video up because it always made me chuckle. And he's just gone now, and it's like, I don't know where he went. He's gone. Really annoying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have taken off recently.
Well, he got hit by the basically the strikes thing, where I guess some group is doing strike raids, or who knows if it's internal in YouTube. I mean, it's pretty transparent to anybody other than them what's going on, Ooh, we're sneaky. Like,
yeah,
really.
I've been getting I've been doing okay. There's like days where I do okay, but it's like then there's like weeks where like everything gets hit. So whoever's monitoring or whoever's watching my stuff is clearly being a pain in the ass about it. So
there's also the other side where on a lot of these channels where they take down the ad revenue. Now I don't know if this is every channel, but some of them they're still showing ads, which means
the thing is, okay, so I guess I should clarify. To people that essentially speaking, if you get demonetized, it just means that like you're not going to be eligible for all advertisements.
Yeah.
So what it really does boil down to are premium ads. It's a premium ad situation. So, but there are companies out there that just don't care.
But there's also a lot of people who just do the plugs directly into the stream, which stops certain dubious people who use ad blocks. I'm not sure.
Well, here's the thing too. I should point this out because Tyon just said, "Have I ever thought about cutting out the chat and re-uploading it, see if that changes anything?" I don't think it will, to be honest with you. But at the same time, YouTube is now going to be implementing live when you go and watch the live replays, or watching the replays of the live shows. You can then look at the chat. That they're going to archive the chat and then play that back like Twitch does.
Well, also it wouldn't matter because it seems like basically once you get the stain of evil on you, like it's pretty much just on you, I don't know. It seems that way.
It's just where they are right now. But I mean, I think for a lot of people that are going to want to go back and watch live streams to see the chats, they'll be able to do that here pretty soon. Like on this type of on my channel, you'll be able to actually like read the chat as it happens. And then like, on something where there's like 7,000-8,000 people watching, you're not gonna be able to see shit in the chat.
Well, yeah, but I mean also it's kind of messed up to blame the streamer for the chats, because no matter what, you get enough people, even if it's got like the thing, some of them you can only type like every 20 seconds or something like that. It's like you can't control what other people are typing in your chat. I mean, I don't know that they are doing that now or will do it later, but usually they give people really vague reasoning when they mess with them anyways.
Yeah. I don't quite know, but I don't have a lot of time left, and I know there are people that are still in the
Okay. Well, let me
in
hop
the chat.
out. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Thanks a lot, man. And yeah, Vexen is a guy who hangs out in the Discord quite a bit, and he's always trying to get people to talk. So if you are in the Discord, look for him.
Oh, real quick. I have been a little busy because I'm actually working with somebody on a book too. But when I have free time, yeah, I have been jumping in.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Laters.
Late. Hey, what's going on, Tony? How are you, buddy?
What?
Are you here this time? You're actually here.
I forgot about my mic for a second. I had it muted, so my bad.
Motherfucker. You motherfucker. So, no, how are you? What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing okay. Just got I don't have a lot of time left tonight because I got to go and check on the kid here in like the next about probably 10 minutes.
But anyway, here's what I wanted to talk about. Star Wars. This, I guess I want to talk about this from fan to fan. Yeah, I'm a huge fan myself. Going on recently, like, with them pumping out movie after movie after movie.
Yeah, like, are you okay with it or are you against it?
Already feeling like the concept of them just pumping Quantum, I should say, my bad. My idea is starting to feel the fatigue of it, and all that, and all the pieces and all, like Han Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And at what point do you ever think that they're going a little too far? We're just going to pump out movies from...
They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. If every Star Wars movie makes $1 billion, right? They have literally no reason to stop making Star Wars movies. And what they're doing now is they're going to finish up episode 9. That is going to end the saga, right? That's going to end the Skywalker saga, although some have argued that episode 8 already did that. And they're going to move on. That's why they're giving Rian Johnson a new trilogy. The guys from Game of Thrones are writing a whole new series of films, and not a trilogy, but a series of films. And if you want my honest impression, they're looking at how Marvel's done it, and they're probably going to have Kathleen Kennedy be like the Kevin Feige and craft this larger narrative. They want to just get past the episodes, right? I think episode 9 is going to set up the future of the franchise, or at least like set up the next like 10 years of the franchise. And they're going to craft this narrative that is going to be probably, if you look at the guys from Game of Thrones, I mean, shit, every year they would produce basically 10 movies, right? And I mean, you know, you could add those through and then just make that a big narrative that takes 10 years to get through or something. They could craft this story out and then watch it play out. And if every movie's pulling in $1 billion, then or close to, you know, they're not going to see a reason to take it away.
See, and here's another thing too. Given how the reception with The Last Jedi has been mixed and all that, do you think it'll stand the test of time in any way, shape, or form? And all of that?
Are you talking like The Last Jedi?
Overall movie, regardless of how...
No. Well, Star Wars has been a staple of pop culture for 41 years almost. So, yeah, it would stand the test of time, absolutely. What they need to do, though, is they need to... I have a feeling they're maybe fumbling their way through the new trilogy. And then once they get past that, they're no longer shackled to the concept of the Skywalker saga. They'll be able to then expand. And they tested this ultimately with Rogue One. And Rogue One, it's divisive, I guess you could say, but not as divisive as The Last Jedi. And Rogue One was a well put together movie. And it grossed a fuckload of money. So yeah, and that's, I mean, Disney, look, the thing is, Disney is already getting ready to make, you know, Star Wars TV shows that are going to go on the Disney streaming service. They're working on creating, I mean, look at Star Wars Rebels, which is coming into its final batch of episodes right now. which I'm waiting until I can, like, probably right before the series finale to play catch up on them all. And that's a big thing that they're doing. So I mean, they are, you know, they're really, they're creating a long lasting brand. This is what Disney does. I mean, look at Mickey Mouse has been popular since like the 1930s, right? You know, I mean, Disneyland opened in 1955 and it almost closed in the 1980s, but they, you know, Michael Eisner breathed new life into it. And now, I mean, tickets are like $150 a day, it feels like. And people are coming from all over the world to go there. So yeah, they know how to make this work. And if something doesn't work, they'll rebrand it and bring it back.
My idea, I guess, with all these like anthology movies and these character pieces, I'm okay with Rogue One, at least concept wise, but with these character pieces, like with the upcoming Solo movie and the potential Kenobi one, it's like, what's the point of having the EU to make all these character pieces? So,
well, they already took out the EU, and now now they call it Star Wars Legends, and then now they're building this new one. So, whatever it is that they're building now I'm cautiously optimistic. The problem with it is being the Star Wars fan that I am, and I am, you know, being critical of The Last Jedi, you know, I guess did really well for me on $3 Theater because a lot of people weren't happy, and I was mad when I saw it. But I'm not as mad anymore, and people are still mad. So trying to find that right area to discuss the property and everything else is going to be interesting. Yeah, anyway, okay. So I still see that Fry Guy and Crummy Lion want to jump in real quick. So, I'm going to wrap this up with you, but we'll pick it up again. We'll definitely pick it up again. But yeah, I really gotta race through these because, I fear my daughter's going to wake up at any time. So, good talking to you, man. I'm going to drop you off here, and, we'll definitely talk again soon. Thanks. All right. Let me bring in Fry Guy. Okay, what's going on, Fry Guy? Let's see if you're actually...
I gotta take the mic off mute. It might work that way.
There we go. Now you're fucking talking.
And I gotta turn down the live stream just so we could hear you.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, right.
What's going on?
This whole thing about Disney you guys were talking about just a second ago, it's just like, I mean, I've got a season pass there. I go with my girlfriend all the time, and it's just like, the crowds are just horrendous. And then, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, they just raised the prices to, I think it was like $150 for both parks or something like that for a day hopper.
Do you get the Southern California discount?
Yeah, I do.
I used to get that too. I mean, I got it when it was like $170 for the whole year, and that was like going twice. You know, and you could pay for the one up front, and then it was like $17 a month after that. And the thing is, I still have my Southern California driver's license, and it's still valid. So I could totally sit there and go. I want to go when I'm down at VidCon if I have time, but I also I don't know if last year how much the hotel cost was any indication of what I'm going to spend this year, I probably won't.
Yeah, well, all those hotels around there, like what, $400, $450 a night or something like that?
No, it wasn't that bad. I think that was like what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 nights was just under $1,000.
Right.
It was expensive. It was really, really, really expensive, and it was a shitty hotel room. Thankfully, I shared it with Wizard of Cause. Not to say that made it any better, because it didn't.
Yeah, I remember
he's
those
a fucking
stories.
alcoholic. But no, I love Nick, but yeah, it was, it was what it was. So what's on your mind, man? What's on your mind? I'm gonna get through you and Crummy Lying here in a minute, just because I gotta.
Yeah, make it quick or whatnot, and how it's going. I was just wondering, have you heard of the World of Bullshitters YouTube channel?
Oh, fuck, Jesus Christ! Yes, I've heard of World Class Bullshitters.
Is that what it is? World Class Bullshitters? I saw one of his videos. And he wants to make a video about you at some point. I'm not sure when he's going to do it.
Why?
I'm just curious about it.
Like, literally, why? Okay, what you guys have to understand is there's this YouTube channel called World Class Bullshitters, and I think I actually mentioned them. I've mentioned them tonight. I know that. And they ended up making a video called Lord of the Shills, and it's about like Star Wars people being paid off by Disney to support Star Wars or something, and they included me in that because I was really angry at the movie, and then I saw it again, and I was less angry at the movie. And I've been open about it. I've been very open about it. And they want to attack me over that shit. And like, they want to make a video about it. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Just because you changed your mind on how you think about the movie from the first thought you had on it?
I mean, and it wasn't like I did a 180. It was like, yeah, there are parts that I liked a lot more, and there are parts that I just was apathetic to. Meaning, I just let it wash over me. And I'm just not going to get mad. Flying none. Not going to get mad. Just going to let it go. And just pretend it doesn't exist. But the thing is, what you have to realize about channels like that, those guys aren't interested in debates. Well, I should say that those guys aren't interested in relative facts. It's a speculation channel. It's a channel that specializes in trying to be, I guess you could call it incendiary. And they're going to go after bigger channels if they can in order to try to boost some of their numbers. It's a standard play, happens all the time. I've commented on one of their videos about like how they misrepresented me, and then they use that in another video. I shouldn't probably have commented, but whatever. And
Yeah,
otherwise,
well,
yeah.
It definitely happens that way, right? You
so
say one
fucking
thing,
stupid.
just like the meme of you dancing earlier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And the song I played, I'm the Tickler. It's like, it's totally a fucking crazy song, but it's funny. But this, of course, is a lot of what happens in regards to this kind of shit. Is people okay? So like when you are a YouTuber, you're an internet personality. People do like to just make wild speculations, and I cannot sit there and say that I've never done it because I clearly have. I try to be more responsible in it now than I was back in the day. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm older, right? Like I'm older, and I think that like, I can probably convey a better message if I try to be more objective. But it's so funny because people actually attack me for being a middle of the road person. Right?
Yeah.
I literally get that.
You can see both sides.
Yeah, because I try, and they're like, oh, you can't take a fucking stance on shit. I'm like, just because I try to see both sides doesn't mean I don't take a stance on it. Like,
Yeah, that's why I've been wondering about your
object.
sub count, because like I've been watching it since I subscribed right after Gamergate started, like probably within the 2 weeks after hearing that, and then I watched you grow from 44,000 up, and I was just like, I just kind of curious why your sub count never grew like everybody else's sub count who was talking about the same thing.
Because I don't sit there and lose my shit.
Right. Maybe that's what it is. You just don't say it. You just like.
Well, no. For one, it boils down to this. I'm a talker, obviously, so I'll like read an article or talk about an article or whatever, and so I don't do a lot of editing. I'm mostly just talking, and that's really not a problem. People actually like that, believe it or not. People subscribe to me actually like that, so that's not an issue. What's the issue is the fact that like I'm not taking as much of a hardline stance, and a lot of that has a lot to do, especially in the commentator skeptic community, has a lot to do with the fact of the election. A lot of us talked about the election. A lot of us talked about politics. A lot of us went after Hillary Clinton. A lot of us maybe weren't as on Donald Trump as we should have been. And as a result of that, when you had people that were like, everything Hillary did, they lost their absolute shit over. It really boils down, in my opinion, to this squeaky wheel got the grease. And that's, it's true. There are people out there that have made their entire career about yelling, screaming, throwing shit, and that it becomes their shtick. Well, here's the thing, and I'll be pretty much, this might come across as egotistical, and I'm not intending that to be as such, but I will outlast them. And the reason why I will outlast them is because eventually you run out of things to yell about. Eventually you turn on people that you know in order to, because you need to yell about something. And if this internet blood sports drama has, you know, has it taught us anything, that's a problem. The Dark One says that my views are sinking faster than the Titanic. I need to diversify and spread truthful opinions. I've always been a scattershot channel. I've always kind of covered a wide variety of topics. Therefore, certain things will do well, certain things will not. But I still pull in an average of about, 60 to 80,000 views a day, which is not bad. Not bad. And if you really want to pull it in, if you want to look at the numbers, for example, like Andy Worski's channel. Andy Worski's got over 100,000 subs more than me, almost 104, he's got closer to 300,000. So, we're coming maybe 130,000 more than I do. He puts out 4 or 5 hour streams, whatever, or a couple hour streams. And the videos do okay, but his average per day, according to, last I checked on Social Blade, it's around like 35,000 views a day. So people are watching live, but not as many are watching after the fact. And that VOD is not, it's people don't want to sit there and wade through a 2-hour stream. So even though I've been streaming right now for 2 hours and 34 minutes and I'm having lots of fun, I love doing this, there are a lot of people that are not going to be sitting there and coming into it and watching the full 2.5 hours. That's one of the reasons why I've started doing the news stories earlier on, and why I'm doing them now in the beginning. So, maybe a minute or two of banter and then jump right into a story. Cover my news stories early. People can then come in and watch those and not have to sit through 10 minutes of introduction and then, talk about one and everything else. So there's a way you have to do this. And that's part of it, is then I segment out the stuff people miss and people can they like it. Then you'd be amazed, actually, by doing that, more people have been coming into the live streams in the early stages, at least until I do the stories, because they want part of that experience.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing from watching the number of views. Watching, I had almost 230 or something in today, and now there's about 168. Well, I'm looking on my phone, but that thing.
Yeah, no, right now it's 169 for me. The thing is, it's okay. I've been on for 2.5 hours. I mean, like realistically, I should not run this stream longer than an hour and a half. Right. So when I do a $3 Theater stream, it's an hour. Usually, if you go and you look on $3 Theater, you will see that rolls in at usually around an hour, like pretty much on the mark. And the reason why I do that is because I know these streams take longer, and I'm barreling through those stories so I can have 15 minutes to talk to people who are in the chat, and then segment out that content. And there's methods to it. And believe it or not, not everything is going to be Christmas. Not everything is going to be 100,000 views. Certain things will do well. Certain things won't. And I just picked up, what is it? I just picked up a new software today that allows me to do speech to text. So that will help me out quite a bit when I'm trying to do my my tags and my descriptions. So because that's part of what YouTube wants, is they want more data, more information in there. So
yeah, whatever helped bring the viewer count up, hopefully.
Well, it's part of it is because a lot of people they look at my content as being a fair amount of podcasty type stuff. And so ultimately, me having this camera and the lighting is irrelevant. It's kind of irrelevant, but I do it for me. So, yeah, someone says we should watch how fast Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I was just saying how much you were talking about, how much everything cost you earlier.
Yeah, and that's not even talking about my computer or my monitor or the other shit that I have.
Yeah, I think I asked you that question a long time ago on the stream about how much your whole setup costs, and by the time you're done, I think it was about $5,000-6,000 when you were done.
I don't think it's. I don't want to say it's that much. What I have now, I like. The setup now, I really, really, really like. So, and if Unknown Archive wants to make me a better OBS background or whatever, help me out with that. I'm fine with that too. I don't know a lot of what I'm doing here, but I like the way that it looks, so I run with it. So the thing is, it's a lot of, but this is 6 years of building, 6 years of growing, 6 years of getting to a point of where I may not have as many subscribers or as many views as Sargon, but, I've got a dedicated audience that I like, and an audience that I think likes me, and we can communicate. And I think that's part of it. That's part of the longevity.
Well, that's good. Anyway, I'll let you go so you can talk to the next person if you need to or whatnot. And we'll catch up later.
All right, man. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later, dude.
You too.
Bye. Oh, 1 sec. Oh, shit.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, hey, hang on. I got that live stream on, so it's kind of a big pause. Hang on.
It's all right.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, at least I'm finally here on time this time, so... Yeah, so I know you don't have much time left on you, so I'll probably just ask a question real quick and get done with, like, do you plan on doing anything with Rich, like, sometime? Like, ever again? Like...
I'd like to. I'd like to. Rich and I kind of separated a little bit. I like Rich quite a bit, but he's not a person you'd want to like go into business with. And to be fair, there's a lot of YouTubers that I would not in any way, shape, or form want to go into business with, regardless of how much I like them. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's all about trying to make it work. So with Rich, trying to get him, when we were doing the verdict, trying to say, okay, we're going to record at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Friday is when we're going to record, and we're going to record for 45 minutes. And he's like, okay. And then the first couple times he did it, and then it turned into he had something come up and he couldn't make it, or he had to push it back, or we had to not do it that week. And then just some, more and more and more things kept coming up. And then ultimately it just kind of went away. And that was when I found out that he had canceled the show without telling me.
Yeah, because I got a little bored at one point today, and I looked up at a bunch of reviews like USA call-out videos, and it brought up that thing with the verdict. I was like, is try to smear him in a way where he did it for greed or something, for the numbers?
No, what it was, okay, and this is the thing. This is the criticism on the verdict was probably from RTU Critic. Yeah. And that dude is a fucking psychopath.
Yep.
That is the guy who doxed me.
Tried to dox you? No, that was Review Hell USA that tried to.
Well, Review Hell USA and RTU Critic are the same person.
Oh.
So, I mean, as far as I know, and I'm pretty damn positive they are the same fucking person. So ultimately, what we've got is a situation where YouTubers, okay, so those of us who do this full time, we do this at different times of day, right? Even though I'm home with my daughter, I'm with her in the daytime, so it's hard for me if she's being cranky to get work done in the afternoon before my girlfriend gets home, right? So for me, it boils down to okay, well, I did the 3 videos for 3 Buck Theater today, literally right before this stream. In fact, all 3 videos have posted pretty much as of minutes before the stream started or during the stream. Those videos have posted because that's how I can get work done. So if I'm having trouble finding the proper connection or the proper time to get it done all day and I'm home, imagine other people with their own lives. So Rich has a girlfriend or fiance. He's got 2 kids with her now. I think she has other kids. So they have a bunch of kids. He's got to find time. At the time, he didn't have an office space. Now he does. But I don't know what time he goes into office. So I'd be happy to work with Rich again. I've offered to do, videos for him, when he needs it or whatever. So ultimately, it's really just there's no hard feelings over the verdict. I'll give him shit over it, but there's no hard feelings because I understand it's been a couple years almost, I feel. And I feel like we would have gone on to something better, but he's doing the podcast with Leanna. He's doing the Rich and Red show, which again is kind of infrequent, but they're doing it and they're happy doing it. And that's good. And that's one of the reasons why, like, people have asked me, oh, why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you bring on other people to do a podcast? Truth of the matter is, I could maybe bring them on as guests, but to actually have them come on to like to do a show together, there's no one I trust well enough to do it. And there's nothing to do with them as a person. It's just them as a business owner. They're running their own business. It's really hard to find that time. And that ultimately is what it boils down to.
Okay.
So there's that. It's really all it is. I mean, if Rich came to me and said, "Hey man, I wanna do another podcast with you," I'd probably be like, "Okay," but we're going to be signing agreements and contracts and making sure that we adhere to a strict schedule. Because that's how you make it better for everyone. That's how you make it fair for everyone involved. The problem with this is YouTube is because it's such an informal platform that we're free to do whatever we want any old time. But if you're trying to run a business requires you to work. It requires you to be vigilant. It requires you to put in the time. And if you don't do that, if you can't do that, then how can you be expected to work with somebody else? You know?
Yeah.
And that's part of it. That's a big part. And so ultimately that's what it boils down to. It's just like for example, if a friend of mine in town wanted to do something, I could have that friend come over at a certain time. We could then lock in a time. That would be a little bit better. But when I'm in Washington, Rich is in New York. It's a 3-hour difference, 3,500 miles away, something like that. Just is always factors at play. So that is the thing. It's just something to consider. I mean, I work with the guy again, but I'll be honest with you. There's those factors are always there.
Well, all right. Well, what else I just want to say is, well, I've always been a big fan of Rich, and without him, I would never have found your channel or like a few other YouTubers that I like. So, yeah, like, Rich is the man. Yeah.
No, Rich is good. Rich is a good guy. I do want to do more with other YouTubers to kind of like open it up a little bit, to introduce, my audience to new people, maybe let some new voices check out. Unknown Archive is a good guy. He does a good stream. It's really weird, kind of autistic. He understands what I'm talking about. And there's also in the chat right now, there's Tara Sophia, who goes under the name Magical Tabletop Girls. She does a lot of stuff, talks about Magic the Gathering. So if you haven't checked out her channel, she's in the chat right now. I would recommend go and see what she's up to, because she's starting off and she's trying to talk about the Magic the Gathering problems right now. So it's a good place to be. But actually, on that note, I should probably wrap this thing up because I've got to go check on my kid. She's quiet, so she's asleep, but I still need to go feed her and everything else.
Okay. Well, it was good talking to you, Matt.
You do. I will talk to you later. Have yourself a good one, and I'll see you. All right, guys, so that wraps up tonight's episode of Rustl'd. Again, nearly 3 hours of all the bullshit. A lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. If you missed any of the stories, the VOD of this will be up very soon after it gets done. And then also individual clips will pop up tomorrow. Let's see, which ones am I going to pop up tomorrow? Tomorrow will probably be the Russian Escort, the Facebook one, and the Christina Hoff Sommers. And the other stories, if you missed them, will be up this weekend, because that's kind of how I'm doing it now. So I'm recording 5, posting 3, saving the other ones for the weekend so I can actually take a fucking weekend off. But anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you haven't already, jump into the Discord link below in the video description. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.